They are.
His body's in there? Oh, God. Hey, these things don't leak, do they?
Leak? Hell no. These things were made by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Oh, fuck!
Did you see that movie, Night of the Living Dead?
Do you ever fantasize about being killed?
Hold it right there! Raise him! I'll blow your fucking brains out!
I just want to look around the graveyard. I ain't never seen one before.
Ain't you never been to a funeral?
I never knew nobody would die.
I don't think it's such a good idea.
What's that? Role player's ass wipe. What do you want to do?
A party.
Some chemical is soaked into the soil of the graveyard and make the corpses come back to life.
Yeah, what fucking chemical? I don't know what chemical, goddammit! It was ordered by the military, I think. I think it was. Would you mind telling me how the fuck did it get all over the graveyard?
They're back from the grave and ready to party. The Return of the Living Dead.
Starts Friday, August 16th at a theater near you.
This is Mantas from VENOM INC.
That is Abaddon from VENOM INC.
And you are listening to the FANTASM Podcast. Keep it heavy, my friends.
This is Reggie Bannister from Phantasm. And you're listening to the FANTASM Podcast with an F, with Corey and Vincent. Hot as love.
Hey, this is Chris Barnes from 6 Feet Under. You're listening to Corey Gorechrist and Dr. Vincent West on the Phantasm Podcast.
Phantasm.
Hi, this is Kenny Potter. You're listening to the Phantasm Podcast. Keep listening, or I'll kill you.
What the fuck is up, and welcome to the Phantasm Podcast. I'm Corey Gorechrist, with me,
Dr. Vincent West.
Hi. Hello. Exciting fucking episode. We got Abaddon and Mantas of VENOM INC on the podcast. We got July 3rd, 1984 right here on the screen. Doctor, now this is from my vault, but I'll let you introduce. We'll just go ahead and introduce this fucker.
I appreciate that. The original boys from Venom, now Venom Inc., they get Return of the Living Dead.
In the dark of the night, something strange is going on.
That movie, Night of the Living Dead.
Sure.
They ship those bodies. Well, say hello.
The dead have risen from the grave.
Mister, there's 100 of those things out there.
How many did you say?
100.
And now the question is, how do we get them back into the ground?
Bert, Frank, we have a little problem.
4 left. 10 right.
It's all over everything! Stupid asshole! Watch your tongue, boy, if you like this job! Like this job!
Brain. Medical science is baffled.
And it's a puzzle, because technically, you're not alive.
Why do you eat people?
Not people. Brains.
How do you kill something that's already dead?
Well, how do I know, Fred? I don't know. Let me think.
It's not a bad question, Bert. In that movie, they destroyed the brain to kill him. Is that what they did?
The brains, right!
Brains!
military is nervous.
Usual crap.
The police are confused.
Send more cops.
It worked in the movie! Well, it ain't working now. Read the movie line!
It's not a bad question, Bert. It's not a bad question, Bert. It's not a bad question, Bert.
The return of the living dead.
Dan O'Bannon, rest in peace. If you guys don't know him, he worked on Alien. This is
Blade Runner.
And Blade Runner. This is an incredible movie. It's more of like a slapstick horror comedy, if you will. Ahead of its time for the comedy it put out. Arguably one of the greatest zombie films ever made. Indeed. If not the greatest. Doctor and I were just talking about that, actually. This was the movie that, believe it or not, coined the term for zombies eating brains. That was never a thing before this film. This was the film that put out what we know as zombies now is brainless.
Where's that figure at? You have that.
I do. It's in the closet. I have the Tarman figure.
That's so cool.
It's awesome. And I've met Alan Troutman, and I've met everybody in this film.
I've got a Tarman thing. What do I have?
I've got a shirt. You have that shirt.
Yeah.
Which has made that guy... Sorry, I forget. I just emailed him, too. I forget his name. But he does a lot of the artwork for Scream Factory and Fright Rags, like a ton of work. And that Tarman shirt that Fright Rags put out a long time ago, where it's got like a volume up button and it's the Tarman chilling. Is
that the one I have?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's what the hell's his name? I'm going to throw this out there to you guys. It's Justin over at Slasher Design. Definitely check his shit out if you haven't. You already have. You probably own his fucking artwork on your t-shirts.
You're wearing it.
A lot of the Scream Factory art prints that are out, on your Blu-rays and whatnot. That's your boy Justin over at Slasher Design. So give him a shout out, Justin. Hopefully we work together in the future. We're huge fans of your work. So
yeah, definitely.
Shot you an email, so get back to us on that. Let me put subtitles on. Where are my manners here? I can probably recite most of this film, but...
He actually can, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I'm still used to PS4 as far as... You guys have heard my woes on this podcast of... there we go, thank you. Oh, God.
Did you finally work the Xbox?
No, I still got it. It is in pawn, because if I'm a pawnbroker that pawns my own shit for money... Usually to go to shows to do interviews for you guys. So, yeah.
Indeed.
Ave, Venom Inc., Nuclear Blast Records. It's out in stores now. Pick it up. God damn, hearing that stuff live was amazing. They played maybe a couple songs off that record, and then just cuts. Old school Venom shit. It was amazing. Can't say anything negative about any of those guys. All of them. Tony as well, as you'll hear on the interview. For a brief moment, Tony,
and in no disrespect,
Demolition Man.
We wanted Phantasm. We don't half-ass anything. We wanted the original members.
We're always an original member kind of podcast, but
y'all can blame me. Send your complaints to drvincentwest.com.
There's no qualms with me with his performance, and
no, it's great.
Demolition Man's been there since '89. I mean, he's definitely earned his keep in that band, and he's definitely more genuine than you'll hear them talk about their talk about Kronos and all that stuff, which is pretty in depth, and it's very unique interview as far as the vibe. It's very cool, and and there's our demon kitty. Tuna is just been passed out since we interviewed Matt Harvey earlier, so we got that coming for you guys. But we got the crew here. We got Linnea Quigley.
God, she's so fucking hot.
Yeah, she's hot in this movie. She looked the best in this movie, because when you watch Night of the Demons, you're like, shoo.
Really, I would have fucked her there.
I would have, because she's like a whore in that film. So I just watched that the other night. But
I want to fuck her.
She looks older.
Deadly Note too.
But we're not trying to sexualize you, Linnea, but you are a sex symbol among.
You were a masturbation queen for me as a kid. Yeah. I mean,
hopefully we'll get her on too.
In this film, because when she's nude on the gravestone with the fucking stockings on, the fucking heels, I'm like, forget it.
It's so iconic, and
I want a shirt of her just wearing that, doing that.
One of the first conventions I went to was Days of the Dead forever ago. But they had the Return of the Living Dead reunion.
Was she there?
Oh, yeah.
Did you meet her?
I did. I didn't get a print or a picture or anything. I met Tom Matthews. I got a Tommy Jarvis print for, because he had them, but that was great. Very cool guy. Jewel Shepard still looks exactly the same. She looks stunningly beautiful. It's really crazy. She still has the same fucking hair as this movie. It's nuts. She was very cool. Alan Troutman was very cool. Who else? I'm trying to remember everybody. Never met. Oh yeah, Don Calfa was great. That was a pleasure meeting him. Very genuine man.
He was talking about stuff leaking down into the morgue. I have that problem.
It was to kind of spray on marijuana or something. That's funny. Beverly Randolph was nice. Miguel Nunez, who was a past guest of ours. Haven't met him. We should have to hold on for that one. Spider's my favorite character.
Hold on.
Yeah, he's my.
Hold on.
It's my favorite character, but Brian Peck was the other one I met.
Is that interview even available for people to go listen to?
Yeah.
Well,
see, that's
tell
the thing.
us real quick how bad you had to butcher that thing.
It was. I guess it was just a poorly timed interview. As far as, we thank Miguel for giving us time to do it, but I think it was one of those situations where we just needed to do it at a different time. He was in the middle of going out.
Maybe when he was asleep.
He was in the middle of going out with his wife or something crazy, and he was walking down Main Street on the phone, digging in his ass. I don't know what he was doing, but
no, listen, I had a great idea. We should do another interview with him when he's asleep. We get the same reaction.
Hey man, what about that graveyard scene? Did you like? Did you like Linnea tits? And then.
Pretty much.
So I don't know.
Whatever, it's fine.
I let that settle for a while, and I still can't get over how much I love this film and his character in it. It's still awesome. And
yeah, he's the shit.
I think he'd make up for it if I met him in person. Maybe we'll do another one when we have more time and actually get some stuff out of him.
So down in the basement, I keep talking about where I lived, and morgue, stuff still into the morgue.
Yeah, the soundtrack's great to this movie. Francis Haynes is a unspoken gem in this era as far as synth music. And
agreed.
One of the biggest travesties to horror soundtracks is that the Trioxin theme never made it on the soundtrack as a song. So all us fans ever got was the title, at the beginning of the movie, like this part coming up whenever the Trioxin leaks out and James Cairn and Tom Matthews get infected and they show the title screen and all that.
When did you first see this film?
God.
Is it weird I saw it at the theater?
Not at all. I was at least 7 when I saw it. It's old. It's one of the first horror movies I really, really liked that I would keep
This
watching.
thing definitely had a life of its own on home video, I think.
Oh yeah, it's beyond a cult classic at this point. It's just a very good movie. I mean, it really is. The comedy is perfect to where it's not corny. It's just good, and the effects are brilliant. The Tarman costume is amazing. Of course, Dan O'Bannon is fantastic.
Sure.
And for basically a parody film, this really trumped a lot of. I don't really like using that term anymore, but it triumphed over the popular zombie stuff, like the Romero stuff. Not to say, of course, Clu Gallagher's fucking in goddamn Freddy's Revenge. You got Clu Gallagher from Freddy's Revenge, which is awesome in this, and he plays a fucking awesome character. Come on.
All I gotta say is...
Come on, Tuna. And the late and great Mark Venturini, one of the best parts of this whole film, and you know him from Part 5, Friday the 13th, which is amazing, and the cast are just so... I don't know, they dug real deep in this. Then you got Michael Crabtree, who's from the Oakland Raiders on the team, It's not the same. It's not the same Michael Crabtree, but yes, Andy Stokes, what a great casting director there, because this cast is just really cool and they work so well together. And if you ever listen to our interview with Miguel Nunez, if you can decipher all that, he was homeless when he shot this film and when he shot
that's crazy.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, because he was from like North or South Carolina or something.
Yeah, and then when he moved out there just to get out of home and make his break, and he did, at least around the time he did. And it's just crazy to hear that side of things. And, of course, you got John Russo in there, and who helped with the original story. I guess that's dating from the... whatever it is, the Night of the Living Dead, because they drew the original story from that, and this is basically the unofficial sequel to it, which is hence the Return of the Living Dead moniker. But yeah, this is classic stuff, and this really can't be beat if you watch zombie films and then you watch this. This is
I'll tell you something
man.
Fun. A lot of people don't know. Savini was actually asked to do the makeup on this film,
right?
And it was a conflict of interest because he was working on Day of the Dead.
Yeah, and this kind of pissed George off at the time.
It probably did, but the reality is this is actually really good.
Yeah.
And,
No, I mean, you can say what you want, but this film, I don't know what it is about it. It's just...
Say what it is, it's this. I'm not hooked up to your... Hold on, none of this is going to work until I have you hook me up to your... to your goodness. Here.
It's again, the doctor ruins his own jokes.
I did. I fucked up my own plug because for whatever reason I'm not connected to your Wi-Fi.
But anyway, I don't know, if you go watch a bunch of zombie films and put in this one just has the best vibe. The punk rock thing's great in it.
It is.
It's a music ensemble.
Great.
Yeah, it's 45 Grave and the Cramps, and you got all that shit thrown in
great.
there. And, yeah, it's really good.
TSOL,
it's
good.
And yeah, it's great stuff. Let me see. Let me get you on the Wi-Fi, Dr. West.
Why am I not on it?
I don't know. I didn't change it.
I haven't touched anything on mine.
Oh yeah, when I tried to hook up the Xfinity X1, not to give them a plug or anything, they had to change my thing.
Oh, it shit the bed.
Yeah. That should be it. It's good for me to train my mind and continue to remember my own password that I made up, so that's good.
Good.
But yeah, I can't say enough good things about this film. It's just good, and the music's great. The cast is just
great.
Phenomenal.
Like
the
this.
Direction's great. "45 Grave." I actually want to hear this dialogue here real quick. Tootie wants to party. If you guys ever watch the Horror's Hollow Grounds, you really need to for this one. It's pretty cool. The Sean Clark. If you have the Scream Factory Collector's Edition, like we do here,
which you can get at Best Buy if you don't have it.
Come on, let's go get the prick.
Or on Amazon.
Yep.
So they carry it.
That's not nice.
Yeah, what does he think we are? Weird or something?
What time does Freddy get off?
10 o'clock.
I ain't sitting here.
Okay, I want to tell you something really funny. The guy in the back, hard left, was in North Shore.
Really?
Yeah, that's goddamn Turtle from fucking North Shore.
It's Philbin.
He was also in fucking Point Break.
Yeah.
The original, not the remake.
John Philbin, yeah.
Did you meet him?
Yep.
Was he nice?
This whole cast was amazing to me. They were all really cool.
But now, you didn't meet the one dude because he's dead.
No, I met Don Calfa.
No, I meant that...
Oh, yeah, Mark Venturini's been dead since before I started going to conventions, but...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never knew he was dead till we talked about this in length.
It was funny because when I was younger, I always thought Mark Venturini was Spider. I always thought Miguel Nunez was... I thought Mark Venturini was his name, so I was like, oh, he's dead, that's sad, and then I was like, oh, Mark Venturini's Suicide, but that still sucks. He's like the...
He killed himself?
No, his name is Suicide in the movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but the... Here we go. And Linnea's fucking awesome in this. It makes the movie.
Did you meet that dude with the mohawk?
Brian Peck, yeah.
That's crazy.
And they were all there. I met Clue Gallagher, too. The only person I didn't meet from this film was Mark and James Cameron. I didn't get to meet him.
Awesome.
But yeah, they had the huge reunion. And Don Calfa was super cool. Yeah, James Cameron's the only one James Cameron is the only person I haven't met.
That guy right there?
Yeah. And he stopped doing conventions. He did his last one.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
That's awesome. He's been in a ton of TV and movies and shit.
Yeah.
Now, what year? This is 85?
Yeah. Yeah, we should probably get to that.
I'm doing it right now.
Let me pull up the films here.
Am I going or are you doing it?
I'll get it, and then you get the music. Music's just as big as the...
Hopefully.
Yeah. Hello. We have Mrs. Gorechrist has entered the building. Let me see what we got for 85.
I'm sure we've done 85 before, but I don't remember doing it. I've got it pulled up here, though, so whenever...
It smells like feet in here.
Like feet?
Yep.
Ew.
It's gross.
It's probably my feet. My feet stink.
That's okay. I can burn a candle.
They always stink.
Oh, there's definitely some good ones for 85. Of course, you know, every episode's a new episode, so you can just hear the 85 over and over.
And I've now shamed my best friend's fiancé with my stinky feet.
That's it.
Oh yeah, I can
publicly over the internet.
Tuna smells like a foot in general, so it's probably him.
Or corn chips, yeah.
What's feet? What's the feet smell?
Yeah. Okay, I can see the ones we've done. That's all right.
I don't remember doing this, but it's fun. I don't care. There's some great stuff.
It was one that we did just standalone, you know, with just us a while back. So it's been a while. Here we go. Of course, we'll run you through the year of 85 to get you a feel for when this film came out, so you can get a gist of what
you
the
doing regular movies first or
always, yeah. Regular movies first, then we'll get into the horror films.
I didn't know where you were going with it. I was making sure.
And then Dr. West will handle the music of 85. So this came out in August of 95. We'll just give you some titles here. We'll save the best for last.
You mean 85?
85, yeah. We got Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, got Commando. Yes. Yes, Tuna went pee-pee. He actually just went pee-pee. Did you go pee-pee? Okay, gotta make sure Tuna goes pee-pee. Yeah, Commando, it's nasty. Got Tobe Hooper's Life Force.
I love that movie.
Got Return to Oz, which is a very weird sequel. We got Legend with Tom Cruise. And Tim Curry as the demon, which is awesome. Teen Wolf, which Ms. Gorechrist hates.
Really?
Tried to put it on last night, and she was like, "No, this is stupid."
I don't hate it. I just didn't.
It didn't even get past. It flashed Teen Wolf on the screen, and she was like, "Can we not? This is dumb."
I just don't like it that much.
It's all right.
I like it.
I haven't seen it.
But it is kind of dumb. I think it's one you just had to like as a kid.
I didn't like they made. I think the Jason Bateman one's awesome. The second one.
I've got both of them.
Yeah, I don't like the newer ones, like the whatever
MTV
shit.
MTV, no.
It's one of the Doctor's choices right here. Fletch.
I love
Chevy Chase.
I love it. European Vacation.
Black Cauldron. Yep, National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Good movie. That's a wheelchair pucker classic.
Yep. Silverado. Red Sonja, which is awesome. Another Schwarzenegger classic. We got Mask, which is that the Eric Stoltz one?
That's a hard movie to watch.
Yeah, sad. Death Wish 3.
But yeah, it's Eric Stoltz, Sam Elliott, and Cher.
You got Invasion USA.
Invasion USA is a great film.
To Live and Die in L.A.
That's a great film.
The Jewel of the Nile.
There's your Exorcist director that did To Live and Die in L.A.
Right. William Friedkin.
Fulfill your purpose as a man and open this jar.
Yes, I will open this jar masculinely on the podcast here. Jar of green olives here. And speaking of martinis and green olives, A View to a Kill. 1995.
My favorite Bond films. The last Roger Moore film.
Oh, wait, here we go. Real quick, guys. Sorry about the break here.
The worst way would be for a bunch of old men.
This is Miss Gorechrist.
And start biting and eating me alive.
I see.
Eating me alive.
Take off my clothes. Get some light over here.
day of suffering.
I need to put this as your ringtone again.
Yeah.
Yeah. This needs to be your ringtone again. Here we go. Yeah.
What? You opened it, you stupid moron!
That song played, dude, it's so corny.
Alright. Oh, we got the booty break here. Let's see what else we got. Got Rocky 4.
It's a great movie.
One of my favorites, Weird Science.
Great movie.
Another John Hughes, Breakfast Club.
Great movie.
Rambo, First Blood Part 2.
Great movie.
And then, save the best two for last. We got The Goonies. The Goonies, 1985. And the best movie to come out of 1985, period, Back to the Future.
Yeah, what a great movie.
And
one of my favorite movies. Man. This is a great movie.
Oh, and then we're not done yet. The horror stuff is just... 85 is a pretty damn good year for that.
I'm trying to think before you start that what my favorite movie from 85 horror-wise would be.
I'll knock some out. I'll narrow down the ones. I'll leave them out here for a second. We got Night Train to Terror. We got House.
That's a great movie.
Oh yeah, it is. It's good for House 2 is actually I've become fond of. It's actually really good.
I love both of those movies actually.
Faces of Death 3.
Ow.
Here you go, some fucking Accept. You got Demons, Lombardo Baba.
I love that movie.
Horror House on Highway 5. You got Wes Craven's Chiller.
I'm not really familiar with that film.
It's weird, but it's Craven.
No, I mean, I've seen it. I'm just not very familiar with it.
You got Phenomena. Jennifer Connelly.
It's a great
Dario Argento. It's awesome. Got Howling 2.
I love that movie.
The Doctor's favorite horror movie of all time, The Mutilator.
That is not true. Not even close.
Everyone knows the tale. That's funny.
I think that title and what that movie actually is the biggest rip-off in America.
Oh, I know. It's like
it's a North Carolina turd is where South Carolina turd is what it is.
North Carolina. Nail Gun Massacre.
Love that movie.
Stephen King's Cat's Eye.
I don't love that movie, but I like it.
It's worth having. Yeah,
Drew Barrymore freaks me out.
Yeah, a little bit. Ghoulies.
Love it.
So you got The Midnight Hour, The Doctor and the Devils. Here's a great Friday the 13th Part 5, which also has Miguel Nunez, shot the same year.
That's a Corey movie, not
it is.
West movie.
This is the one we've done, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Love that movie.
Also has Clu Gallagher in that film. So there's that. Stephen King's Silver Bullet with Gary Busey.
You know, I love Corey Haim. I was never into that film.
No. I like Gary Busey.
No, I mean, I like both of them. It's just one of those films, if you ever try to watch it, it's just a weird movie.
It is weird. Now you got this is where the comedy comes in. It's got the nude cadaver running around without the head. I always was interested how they shot this. You know, they do a really good job of covering up. You know, it's hard to shoot a guy without a fucking head. Yeah, and avoiding the penis shot and his head and his head in the shot, you know.
Right.
It's hard to...
The two heads.
Yeah, it's hard to get all that... it's very good film work there, definitely. The Stuff.
That's a fun movie.
Yeah, then you got Once Bitten with Jim Carrey.
I fucking love that movie.
It's a great film. Really,
love that movie.
It's a Halloween film too, so definitely, guys, you throw it on your Halloween marathon list this year. If you've never seen Once Bitten, of course, Scream Factory put it out. Go watch it. We're down to the final three here.
Once Bitten is great.
Doctor, you got to know one of these out of the three. 85 horror.
This is a horror film.
There's three more.
This is something that I rave about. Actually,
one of them we mentioned one already, kind of, and the other one I know that you know, obviously. There's one very crucial
85 is a weird year. So I'm trying... Hold on a second. Let me just kind of think about it. It's none of the Phantasm films.
No.
There's not a Friday the 13th from that year that I like.
Right.
From Beyond?
Nope.
Reanimator.
That's it. Reanimator, 1985. Good luck buying on an Arrow. You're going to spend $1 million. But that new edition that they put out is pretty nasty. So, if not, they have a regular edition. Just go buy it on home video and get it on your playlist. Go fucking.
In fact, you can get the
up.
image version of the Blu-ray that's still in print.
Yeah,
at Best Buy right now for like $5.99.
Yeah, just go.
It's in their cheap bin.
As long as you're watching the damn thing, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
Tell yourself that, Corey.
Yeah. Well, I have to get the Blu-rays. I got shit to do here. I do. I got to get the platinum. I got to get the Mamma Jamma here. I have a podcast to run.
You do.
Yeah,
I can't be doing this on VHS.
Don't do it on VHS.
We got to have the clean.
We'll
cut.
do Linnea Quigley on VHS.
Yeah. We got to have the Supremo here.
We've done one DVD on this podcast, Unhinged, and that's it.
That's right. We did do Unhinged.
It's the only one we ever did.
That's weird. I forgot about that.
It was cool.
It was cool.
It's a weird film.
We did a throwback. We got 2 more movies.
I give up. I have no idea. I know. Wait, no, that's not the right year.
I like it spooky.
I mean, I got something to say, What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is the way of life.
Oh, yes.
Hey, what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will you?
Where's my olive?
Okay, 2 more. We have...
I don't know. I mean, literally, I'm thinking of everything that I like.
Well, that was it. The Reanimator one was the one. It would be your favorite. Fright Night.
Is that 85?
It is. Besides this film, Return of the Living Dead, I would say Fright Night's my other favorite.
You love that movie.
For horror movies, yeah.
I love it too, though. I've got both versions of the...
And then the number 1 here, we'll put this at 1, because I would put Return at 1, but this one will be 1 for that sake. Day of the Dead. And there you go. I would actually put Reanimator over that, but Day of the Dead's,
I would put Once
good
Dead
shit.
over Day of the Dead.
Yeah,
so.
Day of the Dead's good shit.
It is.
It's just a nightmare for me. It's a very isolated movie because they're trapped in that.
It's stressful.
Imagine being a zombie apocalypse. I personally wouldn't want to be trapped with the military. I think that's just make me. I wouldn't feel safe doing that. I'd feel really weird. The gore is great in that. It comes in weird parts, but it's there. It's just a very different film. It's got its own pace to it. Seems kind of slow, but whenever stuff happens, damn, it happens. I met Howard Sherman. He was very cool. Bub doesn't look like that. That's good. I've never seen him outside of the Bub costume, so I didn't know, or the makeup. I didn't know what he would look like in person. So I was like, well, he doesn't look. He's like
in a
zombie.
Quantum Leap episode that I love.
Yeah. He's very cool. But yeah, that compiles the list here for 85 movies.
These should be really quick.
And then we got some great music.
Well, we got some okay music.
Well, what do we got?
All right. This is actually a really short list.
I was like, we got great music. He's like, well, no.
We really don't. It's very short and small list of stuff, and I'm kind of having to cross platforms here to even get that. Yngwie Malmsteen's Marching Out. DRI's Dealing with It. Aerosmith, Done with Mirrors. Keel, The Right to Rock. Pentagram, Relentless. Sepultura, Bestial Devastation. Scorpions, Worldwide Live. Saxon, Innocence is No Excuse. Slayer, Hell Awaits. Armored Saint, Delirious Nomad. Alcatraz, Disturbing the Peace. Celtic Frost, Emperor's Return. Kiss, Asylum. Bathory, The Return. Anthrax, Armed and Dangerous. Twisted Sister, Come Out and Play. Halloween, Walls of Jericho, which is Jens's favorite thing that they ever did.
Huh.
Megadeth, Killing is My Business and Business is Good. Accept, Metal Heart. Exodus, Bonded by Blood, my favorite Exodus album. By the way, little teaser if you're listening to this episode, Exodus, future guest.
Boom.
Rad, Invasion of Your Privacy. I know that's whatever, but I love that band. Destruction, Infernal Overkill.
You beat me to it, so I guess.
Overkill, Feel the Fire. Dawkin, Under Lock and Key. Anthrax, Spreading the Disease. Celtic Frost to Megatherion. Dio, Sacred Heart. And my top
That's
two.
my favorite one.
My top two. Your favorite Dio record? Yeah.
Yep.
My top two on this list. Number 2 is Creator, Endless Pain.
Oh, yeah.
And number 1 is Possessed, Seven Churches.
Awesome.
Which was groundbreaking.
Oh, that's awesome.
For what we do on this podcast. Of
course.
There's some great stuff, and I tried to name what I could of it. Just real quick, this is kind of something I've never done before. I'm going to try real quick. So if I fuck this up, whatever. I'm going to do rock albums of 1985. No, not Rock Hudson, rock albums.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I doing this, you're asking? Well, I don't know. But I'm doing it anyway.
Some cool little tidbits about this movie once you're done.
Yeah, this will just take a second. I'm just having fun here. This is something we normally wouldn't do. I just feel like doing this for some weird reason. I don't know why. I may not even end up mentioning any of this stuff because it may just be so god-awful and weird I'm not doing it. No, I'm going to do this. This is actually definitely worth doing. All right. The Clash, Cut the Crap. AC/DC, Fly on the Wall. The Cult Love, which we were just listening to.
That was 85?
car.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go.
7 Wishes by Night Ranger.
That's a good one.
It's kind of a throwback to my goth era I went through. It was more of the ladies, but Sisters of Mercy, First, Last, and Always.
Awesome. A good record.
Rush, Power Windows. Sting, The Dream of the Blue Turtles. It's his first solo album after he left the Police.
Yeah.
The Smiths, Meat is Murder. It's a great album. I know it's weird. I like that band, but whatever I do. For Mrs. Gorechrist, The Cure, Head on the Door.
There you go.
And then finally, my favorite record probably of 1985, Phil Collins, No Jacket Required.
Oh, amazing.
Which is mainly the reason I just listed all those weird bands.
On it on cassette.
Mm-hmm.
Some cool mentions about Return of the Living Dead here, little tidbits here. John Russo, once he retained the rights for the title Living Dead.
You want to talk a little bit about that for people out there that don't know about that? John Russo and George Romero's relationship.
Well, after
Night... You've met John several times.
Yeah, several times. Also did a plug for the podcast a while back. Pretty much when we first started doing it, it's kind of cool. One of our early brief guests we had on. Echo Barbecue, that was really neat. And he's at a lot of conventions. He parties hard for his age. I mean, he doesn't give a fuck. He's pretty cool. Pretty cool guy.
Greek salad?
Just to throw a bunch of shit in a salad.
The dump salad.
Yeah, it's a dump salad. You eat the chicken to it? So chicken, olives, tomatoes.
So after Night of the Living Dead,
good.
They split ways. Creative differences, I'm assuming.
The original film.
Yeah. And John had written a novel called Return of the Living Dead, and he retained the rights to the title Living Dead, anything involving that. So he owns the rights to anything.
Oh, okay.
That says Living Dead on it.
I thought people might want to hear about that.
Yeah,
I knew you would know, so.
I know there's a little bit of, I don't know how that relationship goes with them now. I'm not going to ask them. I'm assuming they're kind of civil, because when I met George, John was right across from him.
It's hard to say whether they would or not. It's weird.
I mean, even at conventions, same thing with, not every band that tours together is going to like the other bands. No. I mean, they could be in the same bus and not like each other. I mean, who knows? Just ask anybody that toured with Dave Mustaine and had to share a bus with him. Anyway. So, Romero wanted to do his own thing. He went and did Dawn and Day. He's doing his own thing. John went and did Return and started making the other Living Dead films. But this is interesting. originally Tobe Hooper was brought on to do this with them. And he dropped it to go do Life Force, which was also with Dan O'Bannon. So there's the tie there.
Well, they were both MGM projects, too.
Yeah. They were both tied together to do this film and Life Force. And Toby went and just did Life Force with Dan and didn't do this film because he went and did that. So that's pretty cool. And then Russo and Tom Fox, they were originally going to do this in 3D with Tobe Hooper, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is cool. And,
so Tobe was supposed to direct this.
Yes. And then Dan ended up doing it because he just did the script for Life Force. And Tobe,
I think he did a hell of a job. This is a very entertaining
Tobe
film.
went to direct Life Force instead, which was arguably a bigger film for Tobe. A lot of people really love that movie. Which, I've only seen it a couple times. I don't know how good it is. Now I haven't watched it in so long, but I know it's a pretty big film for. Hey, Tuna! He's got to protect his shit. He's trying to eat the cat. Yeah, now you're hungry. All right.
Well, he's been training him with salad, but.
Yeah. Well, as soon as the cat goes over to his food. But yeah, let's see. Russo would eventually make his own series with the revised edition of Night of the Living Dead, which is different. And yeah, so although the movie is set in Louisville, Kentucky, it was filmed in California.
Yeah, watched on Clark's Land.
Yeah, and he'll go to all the locations and what they look like now. Which there was a fun story which he told us. I want to say it was on our interview with him before this came out, where he talks about going to the UNITA supply building.
It was.
How he had to sneak on to get those scenes because they were the guys that owned the property were really
dicks.
Mean. Yeah. To quote him, they were dicks. So.
What he does, and we'll talk about Sean for a second if you want. I think, and whether he ever realizes this or acknowledges me,
here's the beautiful cremation scene where the zombies begin, and this sets the tone for the whole movie.
I think.
Quick, we'll put the music on while you're talking about it.
To me, I think what he does is very outlawish, and that's why I like him.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to get what you got to get. I mean he's trying to show everybody where all these were filmed, and I think it's a pretty cool thing. But again, about this song, it was never put on the movie soundtrack, and you can't get it anywhere. So the only way you're able to hear it is on the movie itself. There's no, which I would love to have this just on a disc or something. It'd be great, but you're never gonna get it. But the great Francis Haynes did an amazing score for this film. Whereas the punk music and all that's great, but the score is amazing too.
I want to give a shout out to one of our followers, JT Latresse, if I'm saying your name right.
If it's not, we apologize. If you listen to our episodes, we don't tend to get a lot of names
this
right.
Dude,
that's okay.
This guy's in a band, and he follows what we do, and thank you, buddy. You're always liking shit I post.
Well, thanks for the support. Be sure to tell your parents, tell your cousins.
I'm scarier in real life.
Tell your neighbors.
In person. I'm not in the morgue. I need a straight jacket.
You're in a straight jacket half the time.
True.
See, he loves Phil Collins, but the doctor is jacket required.
Yeah, it's not the no jacket, it's the opposite. That'd be my solo album.
Yeah.
It'd
be called Jacket Required.
Vincent West, Jacket Required. At all functions.
Alan Troutman, who played the Tar Man in the costume in this film, he worked with Jim Henson, which is pretty awesome. So he was a puppeteer for him, which is crazy. And he's very professional in this film. It's just it scared the shit out of me. Like, I love the Tall Man, but it scared me when I saw this movie. It still kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I would love to do a photo op with him in the Tar Man costume. That would be an amazing thing to do, but I don't know where that costume is, or if somebody owns it, or it's trashed. I don't know. That's something I guess we'd have to ask Alan Troutman if he knows. Some fan owns it, or it's in storage somewhere, or they buried it with Dan. I don't know. So I guess we'll have to figure that out, or maybe it's on one of the special features of this Blu-ray. We'll Might have to dig that out. Let's see if there's anything else interesting. Characters of Burt Wilson and Ernie Kaltenbrunner, that's Don Calfa and Clu Gallagher. Contrary to popular belief, not named after the characters from Sesame Street. Dan had no idea he was using the names of those characters. The Burt and Ernie. I mean, I guess in the 80s they were popular names. I don't know. It seems like just common names then. Now it's like Peyton and Connor and Caden and Jalen. And
that's in the South.
That's everywhere.
Getting catfished is in the South, too. Not just fishing for it, but when you go fishing for pussy, it happens, too.
Catfish rated R.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Originally...
I'll do the walk of shame on this podcast. Thank you!
Originally,
Did
Frank...
you find out that it's actually the catfish?
Originally, Frank
I'm
was
being negative
supposed to be completely transformed into a zombie and join the zombie mob, but James Cameron did not wish to film any scenes in the cold rain of Los Angeles, so he instead suggested that Frank isolate himself before said transformation could be completed.
Hello, Lucifer.
So this is all courtesy of Wikipedia. Don't know the authenticity of it, but it sounds pretty legit. So. But yeah, Roger Ebert gave the film 3 out of 4 stars. Hey, this is interesting. Roger Ebert gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, writing that the film is kind of a sensation machine made out of the usual ingredients, and the real question is whether it's done with style. They call Stephen Holden of the New York Times called the film mordant punk comedy, stating that it is by no means the ultimate horror movie it aspires to be. Which I think he ate his words now, because it surely is. It's got a lot of really good horror elements to it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anyone that didn't like this film.
The zombies are like actually scary, even though they talk and they're like, send more paramedics. And you can't kill these zombies because they don't know how.
Oh.
None of them die in this movie. Like the tar man gets his head knocked off, and I think he dies. But
while we're talking about this, Return of the Living Dead 2 is going to be a Warner Archive thing,
which is amazing. That's needed to be on Blu-ray for a long time.
I mean, it's going to be bare bones, but at least
it doesn't matter. We need that print. We have Return of the Living Dead 3 out from Vestron. It looks amazing. That we need to do. It's using a goodness. It's creeps me the fuck out. The movie's nasty. It's good stuff. Definitely a cult classic. That's a really good. Anytime you pop in a used in a flick, you can automatically tell. It's like, this looks raunchy, and then it's like,
I always thought these shots were really cool.
With the acid rain and the
just
going
the way
into the
he's
cemetery
using that camera right there. I just think it's cool.
I'm saying, Abaddon really knocked it out. This movie's great. Everything down to the bare minimum here.
Yeah, obviously when you're the artist, the one doing it, you're going to be overly critical of your work. But
I can't say enough good things about this movie. It's just cool, and the zombies look fantastic.
Yeah,
and
they still do.
And they don't fucking die in this movie. Like there's just so many of them, and then they're just making more. You know, because so many of them come out at once. They're just like they do like this fucking guerrilla warfare, like ambushing in this movie. That's really brilliant. Like it's cool, man. The zombies are very different in this movie, and I don't think you can see this as a horror comedy, but there's a lot more horror to this movie than comedy.
Agreed.
In
a
lot
of
ways.
It's very edgy, and it's
And the punk rock thing makes it darker in a way, and it makes it lighter in a way. It all depends. The characters.
I was never scared watching this movie. I just thought it was cool.
I was always afraid of Tarman just because at the time I thought it was an animatronic when I was little, and it freaked me out because I was like, how is he moving like a human? I never made the distinction he was in a costume because it looks so real, but it looks surreal. I don't know how to explain it, but when I was little, I thought...
Is this him right here?
Yes, this is Beverly Randolph about to meet Tarman right here. Of course, it's Kimberly in the movie, but yeah, I wish they had just the score of this fucking film on CD, but they don't. Because Francis Haynes it's part of the reason this movie's great. Outside of the punk soundtrack, which made it so iconic, the actual score is just awesome, man. I can't say enough about that. There he is. Yeah, he's fucking scary, man.
I just feel sorry for the naked girl.
Yeah.
This is old.
See, I always thought he was like an animatronic. That's why it always scared me. I was like, how is he not real? I was like, oh, he's a guy in a suit. He's real. And these zombies are smart, too.
Did you met him, too, the Terminator?
Yep. Alan Troutman. Nice? Oh, yeah. Awesome. Had some original sketches made, too, that he had for sale. It was awesome. Anytime you get to go to a con and you like this film, you see these guys at a convention, go meet them. They're all fantastic people. Of course, Miss Gorechrist and I are going to go in May and see some of them. So.
See what?
See one of their reunions, so that'll be cool.
Oh, is it one of these?
Yeah, Tom Matthews will be there, Beverly Randolph will be there, Linnea Quigley, and I think Alan Troutman is going to be there too. So, Days of the Dead, May 2018 in Charlotte, so, where they used to have the old Mad Monster Party before they moved it. So, at the Sheraton out there. All right, it's hard not to play the actual sound for this movie. See, that's the weird thing. He never becomes a zombie. He's just dead. Nasty.
Where the fuck you going? Help me find the door! Stupid fuckers!
There's another good part in this whole thing. Suicide never becomes a zombie. He's just dead.
Yeah.
Maybe because he ate his actual brains. A lot of them get just bitten. Maybe because he ate his brains out. He's probably just fucking toast. But.
And why are the two of them sick?
Because they got hit with the trioxin from the... they hit the tar man's... what is it? The barrel, and it leaked out.
I haven't watched this
trioxin
movie in a long time.
It leaked out the trioxin, so they got the straight up chemicals hitting their face, and then
people have go-to stuff that they watch. This is one of my rotation films. I like it a lot. I don't have anything bad to say.
Everybody's got their, their.
It's just not one that I'm like, I gotta watch this over and over and over.
Right.
And over and over.
Now. You probably don't do this, and I asked Matt Harvey, but I'm interested because I always try to watch some new stuff around this time of year. Do you have stuff that you just fucking have to watch to keep you into the Halloween spirit?
Yeah, and it's simple stuff for me.
I mean, you got to do the obvious things. You got your,
Well, this is it. It's real simple.
Or some of the crucial things for you outside of the obvious.
Well,
like Halloween.
I'll do them all. I'll do them all. This is stuff that I will watch, regardless of anything.
Right. But if you're trying to get in, solely for Halloween, I know we horror fans, us, me, and you, we do this stuff all year, whatever. But for Halloween, you save stuff and you watch it.
For me, it's the first 8 Friday the 13th.
Of course, yeah.
The first 3 Halloween pictures.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I would even stretch it to 4.
I don't have a problem with 4, 5, and 6, but I generally...
If I would go further, I'd go to 4, and that's it.
Well, no, I don't have a problem watching 5. I'm just being honest with what I end up watching.
Sure. Yeah.
What I plan to watch and what I end up watching. But it's the first 3 Halloween films, the first 8 Friday the 13th. Well, 2 through 8.
Yeah.
I don't watch part 1.
Yeah, it's...
the first... Well, now I can add 3 into this register, but usually the first... The first 2 Phantasms.
Of course.
The first Halloween, though, gets a lot of replay value. The first Exorcist.
Oh, yeah.
And all 3 of the Amityvilles. And most importantly of everything that I watch, I do a huge Vincent West. This is like my thing that I do for myself. I watch every Vincent Price film, period, in the month of October. I've already started doing this. I do it every year now. I started doing it a few years ago when Scream Factory put the first volume of the Vincent Price collection on Blu-ray. I will watch every fucking film that I have of his on Blu-ray, and some of the Kino Lorber stuff that came out, the House of Wax 3D version that came out from Warner Brothers, all of it. All of that stuff gets watched. It gets watched more for me this month than any time during the year. Like, I randomly will watch Vincent Price stuff, but Vincent Price stuff to me around the month of October is must viewing for me. I don't know why. Just House of Usher and fucking any of the stuff that he did with Roger Corman. All that stuff is necessary Halloween stuff for me. Got to watch Vincent Price around Halloween. You got to. And those collections are invaluable to me. It's very those are out of print. You can't. Well, I'm like, well, I've got them. I love Vincent Price. So Vincent Price movies this time of year, real big. And for some reason, I don't know why, I like to watch Vincent Price movies around Christmas.
Yeah,
I watch Bond movies and Vincent Price stuff around Christmas. But anyway,
makes sense.
And it's not definitely not. But anyway,
which is coming out.
But
this
Halloween,
year,
Halloween though, first 3 Halloween films. Trying to think what else I've started. Christine.
Oh yeah, I threw that in this year for sure. The Fog is a great one to watch.
But like some of the stuff that some people might think that I would watch around this time of year, I don't do. Like I do not watch. I don't know. I don't watch what I think some people would like. I don't ever watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre around Halloween. That's not a Halloween film to me.
It's more a summer movie. That's what it is.
Well, yeah, it is, and it's just it's never had a Halloween appeal to me. But everything else I mentioned, sure. I watch a lot of Friday the 13th, the series. I watch a lot of Tales from the Dark Side, the TV show. Munsters. I was watching the Munsters the other night. I mean, I
used to just watch it on TV when it came out.
But I don't usually ever watch the Munsters throughout the year, but I watch it in October. I don't know. I have weird stuff that I watch.
There's our old man right there. I never did a Mr. Skinless, but this one, you're good. You all know when that scene happens. You've probably seen it more times than the movie itself.
So that's what I watch.
I'd say for me, I'm trying to think of...
But I don't... Here is not a Halloween film to me. Nothing from Stuart Gordon is a Halloween film to me.
Those movies are just nasty.
Those are not Halloween films, though, to me. And I think some people get confused. I'll tell you something else that is not a Halloween film to me. Watching Hellraiser movies around Halloween does nothing for me.
Yeah.
Those are throughout the year. I don't need to watch Hellraiser during Halloween.
Right.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. There's you something I love to watch around Halloween.
It's a great one. A Little Shop of Horrors. We watched that the other night.
I can't do that movie. I'd rather blow my head off than watch that film. I know people that love that, and that's fine. I get it. And the cast on paper, that movie.
You got John Candy, Bill Murray.
I just can't. I can't do it.
Sorry, the musicals.
The Rocky Horror thing is me stretching it, and it would if it didn't have a Whoopi sensibility for me.
Yeah.
Because of my aunt and uncle that were way into that movie when I was growing up, then I wouldn't even have that. That movie, it came out when I was born, so it's weird.
Here's I'll throw out some good ones. Ms. Gorechrist and I have already watched.
I've tried to follow what you were posting occasionally when I can see it, but I can't. I want to say this to both of you. To try to follow either one of you, what you post, I would need like a scientist and someone else to help me break it down. It's just madness trying to follow you guys, what you all post. Because I never post anything. I'll post something like, I don't feel good. And people are like, oh, that sucks. You're all like, all this witty stuff and everything. I'm not making fun. It's just hard to, I can't.
See, for me, I try to watch mostly horror films that take place on or around Halloween itself.
Well, let me ask you both this.
So the vibe is there.
We'll get Alexis in on this. So, Teen will just immediately no-go. How come you just, 80s blah?
Huh?
The Teen Wolf thing. You were going to watch Teen Wolf part of your Halloween thing.
It's just silly. I just don't want
it is. It is. I'm not arguing that. I agree with that. So, let me ask you this. So, I saw a couple things. You know, Pumpkinhead.
Love it. She loves that movie.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm telling you, I remember I try to follow.
You probably get some
guys do,
but
I can't. Fuck. I saw a few of these, and I'm trying to remember what I saw.
I'll name two really good ones.
Go ahead. Where did you start? Go where you started and go down.
House of 1,000 Corpses was the first one, which you love. You love that movie.
Hey.
It takes place...
Look what we're getting.
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Peyton Manning statue.
Oh.
Good, I hope they take it down because he's a Confederate officer.
Here it is, it's right there.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So between A House of 1,000 Corpses and Peyton Manning, I think the doctor's I think he's just going to go home now. So
here, let me talk about House of 1,000 Corpses briefly. Let me say one thing about it.
It's the first film we did when we did, I don't even know how many films we've done. Sometimes we watch like 4 a night. Like we've just been knocking them out.
Okay.
Just to have fun, to have some, just me and Alexis time, watching horror movies. We do it anyway, but trying to get it into, because last year we were so heavily bound in the podcast itself that I was like, well, you can just go listen to our episodes. I don't need to watch horror movies. We're not doing it, so don't want to do that this year. Want to definitely get some movies in there. But House of 1,000 Corpses was Rob Zombie's first film. It was actually, going back and watching it recently even, it is very good. It's a good movie. It's his own thing. He wasn't trying to be, what the fuck's his name? Whatever. He wasn't trying to make Holy Mountain, and he wasn't trying to make Halloween, and he wasn't trying to do all this stuff. He was just making his own fucking movie. And it looks like it's his own movie. Yeah, it was inspired by a lot of other things. You can tell he has seen a lot of horror stuff, like really old stuff to new stuff, and it was definitely his own movie, and it takes place on Halloween, which is nice. So that was why I started with that one, and it's a good start to a list. I think is one to start it all off. I think it really helped. It was nice. What were you gonna say?
No, nothing. I'm just trying to. That film. I can't.
I know you don't like it.
I don't like him.
I know.
I don't know if we've ever talked about that. I just don't like him. I think he's talentless. I can't stand him.
Makes sense.
He reminds me. He's the Quentin Tarantino of horror. He's just
right.
He just bandwagons things and then puts films out. But whatever.
Which I agree with.
Just go listen to John Carpenter call him a piece of shit.
Yeah,
that's all the info you need from me.
It's definitely funny. Which
no, I get it. You're good. I want to hear about your list. I think it's interesting what you're watching.
Okay.
I don't have to like it. It doesn't matter. Everybody likes different shit.
This was a first for me and Miss Score Christ. We watched Trick or Treat, not the Ozzy
Trick or Treat
Gene Simmons one, but the
anthology thing.
Yeah, the anthology.
I can't do it.
It was cool.
You liked it. I can't. A lot of people like it. I don't like it.
We never watched it.
I don't hate it. I just didn't.
It's old. It's been out for a long time.
It is. It's been out a long time. It's got a huge following.
It does.
I like that movie. But.
And then I was like, okay, well, let's just watch it. It's Halloween. It's a Halloween movie, and it's it's cool. I like it.
You've known me long enough where you can tell.
No, if I watch something, I'm like, well, the doctor's not gonna like it, but I think it's cool.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's why it's your list. It's the stuff you guys watch. I think it's cool. I didn't hate it. I just
this is another Linnea film, Night of the Demons. Awesome, great film.
This is a great movie.
That's a must-watch. That's also a Halloween movie.
Do you have that?
I don't.
I have it.
I streamed it online.
It's actually got a print.
It is. You can get it from Scream Factory. They have it up. You just can't buy the slipcase with it. Where Scream Factory's got a Friday 13th sale, like their little Spooktober sale thing going on. So you can pick up Night of the Demons. I think it's like $15, so it's not bad. Witchboard, awesome movie. It's another Halloween film.
It's a good movie.
So here we go. So even though that's goofy, he's still fucking scary looking. I don't know. Even his voice is creepy. Yeah, Witchboard's awesome. If you haven't seen it, it's just that's a nasty. It's a nasty movie. Another Scream Factory gem that they dug up. Of course, Return of the Living Dead, Pumpkinhead. Creepshow 2 we watched, which isn't necessarily a Halloween movie, but it's Creepshow.
No, I get that.
It's good.
I get that.
And the first one too. You got to have all that stuff.
You watched the first one?
No,
you just watched parts.
Watched Creepshow 2 so far. What else we got? That we've already watched. Dark Night of the Scarecrow we watched last night.
Ginger Snap was pretty good.
Yeah, Ginger Snaps. I never saw that before. It's good. You know, it's a werewolf movie. It's more of a modern horror movie.
To do that.
Yeah. Another one. I watched it and I was like, the doctor won't like this film.
No, to be honest, I was pissed off when they put like a collector's edition of that out. I was like, really?
Yeah, it's another one of those films that has like a huge following, and I've never knew.
It's a millennial thing.
It's
not
but you know,
it.
I thought it was good.
No, it's cool.
I'm not gonna buy the T-shirt or anything.
90s or early 2000s.
Early 2000s, yeah.
Really, it doesn't look like.
Dark Knight of the Scarecrow is like 74, 75.
I love that
awesome.
movie.
TV movie, really good. That's a movie I actually.
My Blu-ray that's worth a lot of money.
That movie I wish they would actually remake. That's a movie I want to see again. You know what I mean? Where they'd actually make...
I will, thank you.
They actually make the Scarecrow just like a slasher, you know? Instead, you know, he was more of like a supernatural force in the movie. Not to spoil anything, but it's been out long enough.
Yeah.
Where he's making things happen. Like, it looks like accidents. Like a dude falls in a fucking wood chipper and dude gets corn harvested and...
It's a great movie.
The guy at the end, you know, he runs into the pitchfork and trying to get away from the corn harvester, but you know, I think we need a good Scarecrow slasher movie, because I think The Mask, what's his name in the movie, Buddy, he looks fucking scary as that Scarecrow, and I wish he would just hack people up instead, but maybe that's just me. If they're going to remake a slasher and do right to a slasher film, just remake that film. I'll accept the remake if you do it right. What else? Ones we haven't watched yet, but this is on our... they're in the... on Deck Circle. We got Pet Sematary, which is definitely good. That movie.
Let's talk about that a second, because I was talking with somebody. Who were we talking about that with? With the dude from Toxic Holocaust.
Yeah, with Joel Grind. He was talking about
Ask me if I like that film.
Do you like that film?
No. I think it's horrible. And Stephen King stuff, like the new It, is a piece of garbage.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's an absolute piece of garbage compared to what they put out on TV.
Oh yeah, that film was amazing, the original.
You know.
They didn't even need to remake
But
it.
I never liked Pet Sematary. I like the Ramones song in it.
Yeah.
And I love the guy that played Herman Munster in it.
Right.
And that's it. The movie always freaked me out because I'm scared of animals, so...
No, it freaked me out too. I haven't seen it since
it's just weird. And I saw it on a date, and this girl like half kissed me when we saw it, and I was like, ugh.
Kiss Cemetery.
It was Dead Fish Cemetery. It was bad. It really was. She was really gross. Here's like a Long John's.
Here's another couple that we're gonna watch soon. House 2, which is a Halloween film.
See, I never think of those.
That has
they are.
Lar Park, Lincoln. Well, it takes place like up to Halloween or something. It's in October.
No, it totally is.
It's an October film. It's more of a dark comedy. Has more of a cult following now than it did. Everyone used to hate that film, but apparently now it's pretty... More people like it as the years go on.
I have that house box set, but I've never opened it.
I wouldn't either go for it. Waxwork is actually putting out the vinyl releases for the soundtracks, and they used similar art for it. It looks awesome.
Nice. Arrow's reissuing those in single discs.
Which I'll probably get
those. You don't get the extra content.
That's fine.
Whatever.
I'm not a huge fan of those movies, but I'd like to have them. That Torso Zombie always pissed me off. I just don't like her. I'm like Miguel Nunez, where he's like, shut the fuck up. It's pretty much, it's me and my relationship with the cat, but yeah, no, not with you, with the cat. The one that the doctor got me that I've never seen that I'm gonna end up watching is Hack-O-Lantern. You know, that looks like a cool one.
It was your birthday present.
It was,
which is actually out of print now.
Yep, and I own it, and it's down there. It's on my list. One that I haven't shown Mrs. Gorechrist yet, I don't know if she'll like it, is Night Shift, and it's with Michael Keaton. It's a 80s comedy where they're like in a morgue.
With him and Fonzie?
Yeah.
Warner Archive's putting that out on Blu-ray.
Are you shitting me?
No, I've already
that movie fucking rules.
I do love it.
I want to show her that movie.
It's really
She's
good.
never seen it. I don't think she's seen it.
Is it?
It's yeah, it's funny.
But that's not like
they're running hookers out of a morgue.
It's not a Halloween film, but that's a perfect...
They're running hookers out of the way. It's all, and the Henry Winkler that is Fonzie, he's nothing like himself. Actually, Michael Keaton's more like the unhinged, crazy.
That's great.
I love it. It's a great movie.
But I'm trying to throw in like horror with like feel good Halloween type stuff. So Night Shift is a great one to keep the vibe. Like, okay, we watched like 3 dark slashers in a row. Let's watch a nice, fun movie.
It's a good movie.
Another one to lighten the mood. You watch Monster Squad. It's perfect. You can watch that all times of the year.
I never...
On Halloween, I love watching it.
Really? See, it doesn't...
But I watched it like 3 months ago just to watch it because it was fun. It was
I love
anniversary.
the movie.
It hit the anniversary as well.
I love that movie, and I just never...
A couple months ago.
I'm trying to think. There was something else somebody had asked me about if I watched it or not. I was like, absolutely not.
Donnie Darko is a Halloween movie. Not really a horror movie, though. It's more of like a supernatural... It's like a thriller, more or less. But it's a great film. It's a Halloween movie. It takes place on all that stuff. They watch Evil Dead in the film. I always thought that was cool. I like seeing
those movies. People there you go. Those are not Halloween films to me. The Evil Dead stuff, not at all.
No, there's.
I don't know why people market.
They're
it
summer.
Like that. It's like, it just doesn't feel.
Those feel like more like summer films, but I watch Evil Dead a lot anyway. I just watched Army of Darkness like a couple times recently. Donnie Darko's good. I like seeing. In the movies, people at Halloween parties, people running around the costume, trick-or-treat. I like seeing the actual atmosphere in the films because that gets me ready for it, even though I'm not sitting there trick-or-treating anymore. I'm obviously. So I like to see it in the movies and all that shit. So Donnie Darko's good. 31, I'm going to give another chance. I threw that on there. So I'm going to watch that. First time I saw it, I didn't like it. So I'm going to watch it again and... I like some of it. I like the clown brothers that were chainsawing people. I thought that was awesome. But I'm going to give it another shot. Here's a good one. The hobo and Linnea Quigley zombified here. It's like, nah. It's funny. I mean, that's the best way to die if you're a hobo. Even though she's a nasty zombie, it's still...
that zombie was Dan O'Bannon, don't you?
Really?
The bomb.
Oh, it was? That's hysterical. So Dan O'Bannon, that's how he really left this earth, was a naked...
I was telling somebody...
zombie.
I forgot one on my list. I'm not trying to interrupt you.
You're good.
This is a big one for me, okay? So, first 3 Halloween films... First 2 Phantasm. I'll throw part 3 in there as honorable mention because I used to didn't have it, so now I can watch it because I wanted it on Blu-ray and I have it now.
Right.
2 through 8, Friday the 13th. 2 through 4, not 1. 1 is excluded from this list, but 2 through 4 on Nightmare on Elm Street. I kind of rock and roll with around Halloween.
Yeah, man, that's
just
on the
those.
list. Yeah.
But here's a big one that I forgot. I love watching The Fog around Halloween.
I mentioned that earlier. Yeah. That's totally.
I didn't fucking even hear you.
Totally on.
That's
great.
That's one that I like to watch.
That's a good vibe. It's a ghost.
It is.
It's a ghost tale. So that's perfect.
And The Exorcist to me is crucial on Halloween. I don't know why.
That's scary.
It's not fucking damn thing to do with that.
It doesn't matter.
It's more around Christmas. I think when that film's supposed to be, but
it's in December or something.
It's sick.
But that's a good one to throw in for
I'm tired of people telling me that movie's overrated. It is not overrated. It's a very good film. You don't know a goddamn thing about horror movies if you don't like that film. That film is still scary. I still cannot watch that thing by myself. And I still, to this day, will never forget when I smoked a joint by myself and tried to watch that film.
Bad idea, man.
Real bad idea. I thought I was going to die.
We'll throw out some other ones, even though this one...
Of course, it was also laced in embalming fluid. But
one I might not watch, I'm not sure yet, but if you want to get some more of the werewolf stuff in, do American Werewolf in London.
Great Halloween picture.
It is.
It is.
Because it's dark, it's at night all the time, it's
great.
Cold. It seems more like fall. It's in London, Throw in The Howling or Bad Moon. I mean, any of those or Wolfen. I mean, those are good movies.
All that stuff.
Creature features are always good for Halloween because you want to, vampire stuff and werewolf stuff.
But where I'll go with the Vincent Price stuff and really wear that out around Halloween. I can't do the Universal Monster stuff around Halloween.
No. That's why I watch Monster
The
Squad.
only Universal monster movie that I like is Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Right. And you can't
anything outside of that. It's not that I don't think the other characters are cool. Although Dracula, I think Dracula's kind of dumb. I'm not a vampire guy.
Sure I'll
Lost Boys. I'll do that on Halloween.
Lost Boys is amazing.
I don't know why, and it's more like a summer picture, but
for me, I don't care. That movie's
it is. It's great. It is. It's fucking great.
That and Fright Night for sure around Halloween are great.
Fright Night's another one where I know I'm not into as much as you are, but I like when I watch that. It's good whenever.
Yeah, it is.
You can do it around Halloween.
Sure. I'll get a lot of shit for this, but I'm also younger. I respect it. I've just never been into the Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff shit.
No, I don't like it.
Never liked it.
I don't like it either.
I'm a Hammer fan.
I don't like it.
I like Price Cushing.
And
Lee. I've never and Price.
The Hammer stuff. You maybe think of that. I always run the Hammer rotation stuff. I
have this, and I don't have it on Blu-ray, but I still watch it. It's the 4 film favorites, and it's like a bunch of the horror Draculas.
Those are great.
Oh, they're awesome.
All of those are great.
And I watch those every year. I try to. Like a Horror of Dracula.
Those are great, man. Taste of Blood of Dracula. All those are great. Dracula AD. That's awesome.
That's my favorite. Is Dracula AD. Love it. But as far as the Karloff and the, I don't know, man.
My favorite. Let me tell you something.
And Bela.
I'll let you borrow this if you want.
I know a lot of people like Bela Lugosi and all that. I just can't.
Here's my favorite Karloff film. The Terror.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson's first picture.
That was his first movie. Yeah. Didn't they put that on Blu-ray? Didn't they?
It's a public domain, so there's several versions. But I'll let you all borrow it. You can pull it. You all watch it. It's actually really good. Yeah. It's weird to see Jack Nicholson being like, "Hey, is that ghost over there or something?" Because it's like the whole thing is this girl that he's infatuated with that's actually dead.
Yeah.
She haunts that castle.
I love the idea.
But that's a Roger Corman thing, though.
Yeah,
see, I'm with you, man. The only black and white that I
it's not even because it's out of color.
No.
It's just
my black and white though. If I'm going black and white, it's all Price.
It's Price. Yeah,
that's it.
You got to do it
because he was fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. The way he would do his stuff, like House of Wax is a really old film. Yeah. That's a great movie.
He was also suave, and I just like
the remake though. This is funny. Probably give you both a heart attack. The remake of House of Wax. I think the villain in that, even though he looks like he's somebody from Slipknot or Marilyn Manson, at least it's like a slasher.
Yeah, he's got like a little his own mask and stuff.
I didn't grow up with it, but if you've got a whoopee to that, there's somebody out there that's younger that listens to us.
Here's what I liked about the newer House of Wax. I think the idea, you can always keep the idea of like a town that's secretly like dead people that are like wax statues. You can keep that going.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Because you know what it made me want to do in the House of Wax thing? I wanted to go to that little town and like go see all the little wax things.
I actually thought it was kind of cool.
Because I love going to the wax museum, and you know that's really cool to me. And I think it's creepy at the same time. But the actual, I think it's cool. They had a whole little fake town with like I don't know. I seeing House of Wax, I don't care anything about the film. I'm just like I want to go to this town and like be in this town. It's just cool.
My other thing with
because it's like rigged and it's I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know why, and I've never told.
And Paris Hilton gets some pale.
I don't think I've ever told anybody this.
That's cool.
I wanted to have sex with her. I don't know why.
Paris Hilton.
I know.
Talk about fish taco.
I know. I'm just being honest, and it was more like I thought if she liked my little wiener, then she'd give me a bunch of money too.
No, you would just. I don't know. She would just snort coke off your dick. I don't know what she does.
And now I will tell the most horrible.
Who wants to sniff a dick?
No, listen. This is a cheese dick. Remember?
Yeah, cheese dick.
Joke. It's not clean. No, listen to this. This is the most embarrassing thing I could ever air out on this podcast.
Here we go.
I own the Paris Hilton CD.
There's just what? That's a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a CD.
Yeah.
Why do you have that?
Because I always wanted to have sex with her.
So you bought the CD?
For like 84 cents.
You like listen to it and you're like, I just want to fuck you.
And I don't listen to it, I just have it.
I want to fuck you. Ew.
I know, it's...
I can't say anything. When I was really little, I bought the first Britney Spears album. And I put her...
I wanted to have sex with her.
I did too, but the poster was like... You know, like the album cover folds out into a poster of her sitting in a fucking chair. Like, it's like a little yearbook photo is what it looks like, and I put it up on my wall. I was like, it's Britney Spears. I actually liked her. I don't know why. That's lame.
No, I think it's cool.
She was hot, but I wasn't like... I was really young, so I wasn't like, fuck her yet. I was just like... I was still rubbing my boner on soft spaces and stuff. I didn't know what the fuck to do with my penis. So it was more or less like, I just think she's really cool. You know how you transition from being a human being, like, I just think she's cool.
That's
and
still
then once
not as bad as me owning Paris Hilton CD.
Well, once you figure out how to use your dick, you're like, just fuck her.
But I also have Tracy Lords CDs.
When you're little and you see girls, you actually have a genuine, like, feeling of wanting to get to know them. But then when you're older and you figure out how to use your dick takes over and it's like, fuck her.
Pretty much.
And you don't even care about anything else, so. It's kind of weird how when you're little you understand women better.
So when you were little, you're like Brittany and I are like a thing.
Yeah, kind of like that. And then when I was in middle school...
Have he told you this?
No.
You're loving it.
And me and my friend Tyler, they're like, who's your wife going to be? And I was like, mine's... And I switched because he wanted Britney Spears. And I was like, well, fine, mine's Christina Aguilera. And we had our own little wives. Like, it was like, mine's Britney Spears. And I was like, well, mine's Christina Aguilera. And we'd play... You know, we'd go out...
sound like that too?
I didn't know. We'd go outside and dress up, and we'd play Army Men and whatever, go out with guns in the woods. And
Really thought you were about to say you would dress up as Britney Spears.
no, I'm not that crazy. That's more the doctor's thing. I probably wouldn't do that. He was like, I want to be on you. Looking at yourself in the mirror.
I want to hear your voice.
You're like, you're toxic, love.
Yeah,
but
it's something crazy I would do.
Hit me, baby. But we'd go outside and play Army Men in the woods with fake guns and stuff, and just be like, I gotta get home to my wife, Britney Spears, and whatever. It was fun.
Well, I mean, I've never said this on the podcast, but when I go to meet a new female, I am usually in the straitjacket and handcuffed.
By the way, Alexis is about to fall over in her chair. It's funny, here on the Phantasm Podcast, it's very therapeutic.
Me being on the Phantasm Podcast is therapeutic.
No, he was, I think, because of his Britney Spears.
And a confirmed guest, I can say, over here we have Oscar from Ram coming on, so that's going to be cool.
We do.
That was just confirmed.
I'm trying to think when I was little who the girl was that because we did that stuff too. Who you going to marry and all that stuff. Right. I was just like, I don't know.
I was a girl and nobody I knew even did that.
We totally did that. I was ready to settle down in 5th grade.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, for me, was probably. Well, mine's kind of lame actually, because all my friends were like, liked pinup girls and everything else. But
my other one was really lame. It was Morgan Lander from Kitty, from that band. Which I hate that band now, but I was like, I'm Morgan Lander, be my wife. Like I would have like the WWF like wrestling games. I'd make my wrestler, and then I'd have a persona for him, and he was like married to Morgan of Kitty. I went that far with it. Like mine
was not that specific,
but I'm actually insane.
Mine was Heather Thomas. If anybody knows who that is. She was on The Fall Guy with Lee Majors. She was blonde with huge tits and a top butt. That's all I needed. Yeah, that's all I needed. And then I had a thing for the girl, what's her name? She was on Buck Rogers and on Silver Spoons with Ricky Schroeder. I'm trying to think of her name. These were all like women old enough to be my mom too, that I was wanting to ride on with. What was her name? I can't remember.
Kitty.
I can't remember. But all my friends were like, Princess Leia in the slave outfit. I'm like,
See, I never really, I don't know.
Don't lie.
Well, they thought they were being...
It was great, but I wasn't like... I was never like...
I never found her attractive.
I was never infatuated where it was like, I'm going to fuck her. I was just like, yeah, it's Princess Leia in a bikini, but I was never like, I want to fuck her.
When we first started dating, you had a picture of her like in that, just her like in
I won it from Spike TV because of my impeccable Star Wars knowledge. That's how I won. I won that from a contest. I never whacked it to that.
Sure you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I swear.
See, I can't whack it to somebody in a bikini.
No,
that's not who it is.
I need tits.
Need a video.
Because I always wonder, like, maybe her nipples are weird.
I need a girl and lots of...
I need tits, and I need movement, I need something. I can't do bikinis, like, no. And Princess Leia, I was like, that's Luke's sister, man. I don't want to...
I can watch
He's already tagged
stuff if one of the girls is really mean to the other girl.
That's fair.
Is that weird?
Yeah, it's like people are probably...
Told me some of the stuff you like, that's not weird.
Yeah. People are probably astounded, but it's like, I've never...
Don't be embarrassed.
I think it's more like, yeah, it's great, she looks good, but at the same time, I was never like, I need to fuck Princess Leia. It's just like, Yeah, she looks great and everything, but, you know, it's as far as I go with it. Could have been better, you know. But that's all. Linnea Quigley, on the other hand. Oh, yeah.
Who was that?
The one that you said you felt bad because she was cold.
Oh. Yeah, I know. I've heard all about it.
Oh, that's the city. Sorry, I'm working.
I mean, most of the... I guess I never really went through the whole teen heartthrob kind of thing like some of my friends did, because I found like my uncle's porn when I was a kid. You know, they would be talking about all that. I was like, I like Tracy Lords. I like...
Oh, yeah.
I like Ginger Lynn. I like, you know... I like Erica Boyer. I liked all these women that were... You really look at, they were very beautiful, but they would talk shit in those movies when they were having sex with those dudes, and I was like, oh my god, what's that? You know, like, it's like full body stimulation from just hearing them talk. It was just like, well, those porn stars now, they don't really, it's not really the same thing. I love me some porn though. Still love me some porn. Gotta have my porn. It's more important than anything else.
Right. You gotta have that release. That
dude, there's some great stuff. And nothing can ever top that. I've actually heard people say, "Oh, it's not good for you," and say it probably isn't. It really isn't, because it's just, you know, if you're a guy, it's just like, oh my god, how much of this can I watch? Then I'll come. You know.
Got some special in line for you guys next month when we get Ross and Matt from Exhumed. Speaking of which,
twice.
Yeah, we'll plug it on here, but you got the. I'll have to go back and ask.
The reason I'm
I'll have to go back and ask her now, though, because I put, can you just do that for the Tennessee one? Because I wasn't sure if they're like, she'd probably get mixed up. We do Archaic at both and Exhumed at both. It's like, I don't know if they can. I'll just ask her later.
Just tell her I need the entry for the one. And yeah, he's wanting to do one like he just did. And he's
you can get him anyway without her setting that up. For the
I need her to
first
get
one.
me into it.
You're into both. That's what I'm saying. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't need her to set that.
That's okay.
So I'm in though.
Yeah,
I've got to take
good
a
to go.
photo pass on it.
Yep, good to go.
I'm going twice because I want to see them headline.
I do too. This is cool.
I've seen them.
I've never seen them.
The last time, you know, the last time they did a headline show, and we didn't get into this interview with him, but the last time they did a headline show was, I'm talking a tour.
Yeah.
Was Anatomy is Destiny.
Wow.
So
no shit.
Yeah.
At least around here. Yeah.
Well, they don't do headline tours in Europe.
No.
Not that I'm aware of. They're always with other bands. And maybe they do take a night where they do that. I'm just talking about in the United States on a tour, them with like tiny bands was that
The
tour.
cool thing, though, is they're just jumping on that Black Dahlia Murder Suffocation tour, and then they're doing a full-fledged tour after with Archaic, which
because they were actually the only reason I wanted to go to that. I mean, I've seen Suffocation this year on that new record. I've seen Decrepit Birth. I've seen Black Dahlia Murder. So actually, I haven't watched them. But I was interviewing them.
Yeah, killer tour package though. If you guys, if it's coming to your neck of the woods, definitely don't miss that. Another good one that the Doctor's going to be doing coverage on. Which I'm debating if I can or not do it with you, but we might. The Bloodletting tour. Which
are you kidding me?
God, it's nasty.
Great.
If you talk about a straight up death metal package, like underground death metal package, it's Visceral, Disgorge, and Origin, and Defeated Sanity, our boys Lily and
Kennedy Vale.
Yeah, Kennedy Vale, which we're going to get those guys on for you guys too.
I met them at the after I did the Cryptopsy interview, and wow, what great guys!
Yeah. Yeah, they're young and they know what they're doing. They're very talented, so that'd be cool to get them on. Try to add to the Visceral Disgorge. That's huge. I love that band. So there you go. At 5:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, you get the town nuke. That's something cool that they did for this movie. They straight up nuked their shit. It's pretty awesome. And then there's turns into the second movie here. We've got the beautiful Trioxin theme again.
Well, there have been complaints about burning skin, but I shouldn't worry. Minor irritation, General. The rain will wash everything away. That's correct, sir. All should be back to normal by morning. Yes, sir. I understand the President will visit Louisville tomorrow.
See, that guy still didn't come up yet.
That happen, sir. No, sir. This hasn't been very pleasant for anyone.
They showed his feet, that dead guy in the beginning, whenever the acid rain first happened. He's still down there. There you go.
And while this is playing, we were doing shots for the Abaddon. Taking that to my grave.
And then coming back out. Yeah, God. Going back to the Venom Inc. show. God, if you guys haven't seen that live, you need to get your fucking shit together.
If you like where everything came from, you should see it. And Goat Horror, I mean, it was...
Goat Horror is always phenomenal. They got a lot of dates coming
Holocaust
up.
Dude was cool.
They're going to be jumping on shows with 1349, so definitely go see Goat Horror. We got them on the show as well. The next episode we got for you guys. And we also got Joel Grind. We got the whole tour package here. Stick around for Phantasm, and we got plenty of goodies for you guys coming up here in the coming weeks. We also got, Mantas and Abaddon. That's huge for us. Venom is the shit. They're not a bad question, Bert.
Look for this interview. We don't really even talk about it. When you guys hear this interview, the interview is as in depth as I could get.
The interview speaks for itself, and really we just talk about the formation of Venom. And
to my knowledge, we're the only people that have interviewed them like this too. Very unique interview.
Yeah, we specifically asked, and it was really cool because I can't remember his name, but the tour manager. Wow, what a great guy!
Yeah, super nice.
Made sure we were taken care of, very accommodating. Originally, it was just going to be Mantas, and then we told him we really wanted to get the original two members, and because we're Phantasm, we're perfectionists, we want the right stuff, and not to discredit Demolition Man or anything, but we just
not an original member of the band.
We just want what we want. We're trying to put a specific brand out to you guys as fans, so we always feel like you got to go to the founding members and stuff. That's just how we work. It's not no negative feelings here. But with that being said, originally when we came on the bus, we just had Mantas and we had Tony, so we were just going to go with it, and we started doing the thing, and then on walks Abaddon on the bus. He actually busted his ass to get there to do the interview with us, and I thought that was really.
He stood the whole interview too because he was getting.
Yeah, really. Do you want to?
We literally did this interview. The entire interview was right before they went on.
Yeah, they were getting ready. Okay, it's the Cramps. My bad. No, Surfing Dead. What you see there, the Roky Erickson song, the Burn the Flames. That was the song that was removed on the previous Blu-rays.
They put it back on this?
I think it's back on this one, yeah. I don't know. It was a copyright issue, obviously, but they replaced it with another song. It was like a...
That's fucking stupid.
It is stupid. And a lot of people complain, like, it's a little thing, but it's a crucial part of the... it's a cool scene of the movie, and the music is the huge basis for why this film is so popular. It's just... all the music works. But with... once they took that out, I don't know, people went apeshit. They're like, why is this changed and all that? People want what they want, how they want it. And back to what we were saying.
They remember it.
Yeah, back to what we were saying about Venom Inc. Once Abaddon came on, they were, Tony ended up leaving and getting fucking nude and changing his underwear. I was like, well, he's not coming back. He's getting down to his skin.
Well, I think he knew what we were doing. We wanted the history, and we got you when you listen to this interview. It's the history of the fucking band.
Yeah, but which Tony's on it a pretty good bit.
Brutal too.
Yeah, it is. Tony's in it a good bit, and we want to thank Tony for his time and having us on the bus with him and doing our thing, and we appreciate his hospitality. He's very professional and killer performer. I mean, you can't discredit him as being in that band now and being on stage. I mean, he's a hell of a performer. His vocals sound great. He's a hell of a bass player too. So yeah, he really knows how to keep the crowd going. He's got a very good presence. So Demolition Man definitely is a great fit for the band for sure, and he's been there a long time, since '89. So definitely, a great part of that band and a crucial part of the band. So no discredit to him at all, but just for us, we wanted to get the original members because we're fans of the old school stuff. And
that's the way I wanted it.
Mantas and Abaddon were both very great.
Mantas, I wanted the two original members.
Mantas is very passionate about the band itself, and you'll definitely hear that right off the bat on the interview. Goes to the nitty gritty, where they started, where the name came from, where all the satanic shit came from,
all of it,
how they write everything, and the whole Kronos falling out and all that stuff. And Abaddon's got a lot of good insight about the scene and the time. A lot of insight about the
new
media,
heavy metal thing,
about the new wave and how they're not, they're just Venom and the
they're black metal
controversies and all.
They started that. That's their thing. I hate to tell you that, Norway, you didn't start that.
I mean, they go into all of it, and it's really cool. And we don't even cover the new album. Nothing. We talked.
Well, what I thought was interesting, just for you and I to talk about. We didn't talk about this with them, but I mean, really, they're way more important actually than King Diamond ever was.
Yeah, they are,
and they were doing it way before.
And they weren't trying to do something. They were just
doing their thing.
Yeah,
but they invented their own goddamn thing. Because really, as important as Merciful Fate is to black metal, I think Venom is it, though. That's
because when you listen to them, they don't.
Venom being the floor, Merciful Fate being the ceiling. It's kind of like,
sure. But not everybody can listen to Merciful Fate. You know what I mean? Like the King Diamond stuff, the vocals. I love it, all of it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Venom is a lot different, and there's a lot more to get out of both. Out of Venom.
After doing that interview, honestly, and as long as I've listened to that band, I go into this in that interview, and it wasn't, I wasn't pumping dicks either. I was being serious, or egos. It's like that band is so fucking important to everything that I listen to.
Yeah, they're very passionate,
and they're not given any credit either.
Yeah, they're very passionate about it, and
they'll never
honestly,
we didn't Hall of Fame. They don't get any goddamn credit for it.
And I hate that we didn't get to it, but we just want to really cover just to get Venom on and talk about the old shit and how important it is to what we do now.
They'll have another record. We can talk about all that stuff another time.
Ave is a great record. I love the songs live sound great. It's a really awesome record, and it's very heavy metal. It's very rock oriented, and really enjoyed it. And I can tell they put a lot of work into it, and they enjoy it. For fans that are wanting an Ave interview about the new record, we didn't do that.
There's a million of them out there.
Yeah, but we didn't do that.
We do unique stuff. You get, what you get? You get the goddamn history of Venom. There you go.
Yeah,
don't like it? Don't listen to it.
This interview was about Venom, not Venom Inc., more or less.
Yeah.
It is Venom Inc., but they're Venom.
Going to the creator, if you, like I said, there's 1,000 Demolition Dude interviews and all that stuff. And that's great. That's not what I wanted.
Right.
We're very specific about what we want. That's why we don't do promotions for has-been film festivals and bullshit like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're way above that now. We're a higher tier of that. We are. We interviewed the fucking guys that literally, and you can hear it in the interview, James Hetfield runs around in air guitars too when he goes and sees them. So there you go. And we had them on. We'll never have anybody probably like that on the podcast, but we had them, and it was a huge honor.
It's almost like getting Lemmy on the podcast,
Yes, it's that caliber. It is
because these guys are living legends.
It is that caliber. I hate unappreciated.
I hate saying living legends because I don't want them to feel old, but
they are.
They're icons in music.
For what we do, those guys are the pioneers of it.
So
if oh God. Why can't I think of his name? If Chuck Berry pioneered rock and roll, Venom pioneered fucking black metal and death metal. They did.
Yeah.
And a lot of the thrash scene that I don't give a shit about. They pioneered it too. So there you go. Yeah, it's all wrapped up in one. So when you turn us down, you've also turned down. We got. I'm not even worried about this. These guys give us. It's like when you got us the Reggie Bannister interview. It's so much credibility off this, and it was really cool.
No, it's fun. It makes me feel like $1 million, and they were so passionate about their.
And we talked about that. That's what we wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk to them about Venom because these guys started the band, and as you'll hear in the interview, they are the band.
Right.
Whether they can have the name or not, they should because they are Venom. Kronos is nothing but a figurehead douche. Figurehead douche.
But honestly, if you want to support those guys now, buy the new Venom Inc. record, Ave.
Go see them.
Nuclear Blast Records out now.
Okay.
Go see them on tour. Go buy some of their shit. Just, you know, the album rules. Go pick it up because that's how you're going to support these guys. So,
buy a shirt.
Oh yeah, but Return of the Living Dead, perfect film for them. I think the attitude fits and just how crazy this film is. It makes sense. Abaddon, thanks again for the Jack Daniels and being so hospitable and hanging out with us backstage. It's really fun. It's definitely a thrill ride for us to do that and hang out with you guys. So thank you. Hopefully we'll see you guys again. And we will now give you guys the interview with Abaddon and Mantas of Venom Inc. And hope you all enjoyed. Hit us up on our Facebook /Phantasm Podcast or SoundCloud.com/Phantasm Podcast. Wherever you're hearing this, let us know what's up. And from the Doctor and I, as always, stay fucking gory. Dr. Vincent West here on the Phantasm Podcast. We have the honor of speaking with...
Dubious honor.
Dubious honor of speaking with the badasses in Venom Inc. We got all the cats in here. We have Abaddon, Mantas, and of course Demolition. All right. It's good to have you guys. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much for having us. It's nice to be had.
Thank you very much.
We don't get had very often, but nice to be had. In fact, we thought we had been had, and we probably have been had. But this is a nice way to be had in Atlanta.
Guess we'll ask first. How's the tour been? We're at the ass end of the tour now, so
fucking insane. It's been absolutely insane. We've had a good few sold-out shows. The shows that haven't been sold out have been near capacity.
To sell them out ourselves.
Yeah, we sold them out ourselves.
Awesome.
They've been nearly capacity anyway, but every show has been fucking raging.
Awesome.
It's been absolutely incredible. To pick a favourite, don't ask us.
Ask him.
Yeah.
What's your favourite? I've got
Atlanta was great. Oh, we haven't done it yet.
No.
Will be
great.
Yeah. For me, I've got a sort of thing about LA.
LA.
The LA show was
yeah,
great.
but we've given cream for that. So now that it's going down,
the LAs have gone now.
They couldn't walk for 2 days.
Did you know
every show?
The LA show? So you guys probably saw a lot of old friends and.
Yeah, that was
some of them.
Was that the biggest one? You think? Was that where you saw probably the most people that you from the past? Maybe.
No, I wouldn't say
everywhere.
So. Just everywhere.
Everywhere.
I think the thing with social media is, you make friends kind of that way, and then you get to meet them. You get to bother about like their families and this kind of thing.
Right.
Then you meet them second time round, and then you talk about holidays and what their kids are doing and work and stuff. And people become real friends, and they're like. It sort of people talk about like having Facebook friends and all this kind of shit, but we're in a position where you can get to actually go there and meet them, and again, right? So they become proper friends, and the people bring us food.
Yeah, tonight someone knocked on the door and just home cooked some food for us.
Oh, that's awesome.
She said, "I know you've been eating shit, cheese, and fucking processed crap, so here's some proper food."
Right.
And Houston, one of the young girls came and had a whole tray of enchiladas she baked for us.
Oh, that's awesome.
People bring in.
People invite you to their homes for showers because they know the shower on the bus doesn't work all the time.
Right.
Do laundry and all this kind of shit. It's very fucking cool.
They bring bottles of Jack. We do VIPs and they bring us gifts. The whole idea is for them to
That's good. Yeah.
And they bring us gifts.
That's awesome.
I think for the first week, Tony got a bottle of Jack Daniels every day brought to him. It was like, I bought you one of these, So I mean, that's that real sense of community and
right.
Of course, famous people turn up all over the place to come and say hi and
Well, that's what I meant, like kind of old friends from the music industry. You get to see a lot of those people. Maybe you don't get to see all the time.
Even on the last tour, I mean, James Hetfield came out to see us.
That's awesome.
You know, I spotted
Well, you know,
we told them to
they
fuck
don't
off.
forget their roots. They know where they, you know, they always listen to you guys.
No. I mean, I spotted him up on the balcony. He headbanged and fucking played air guitar and fucking sang all the way through the fucking show.
That's awesome.
I was just looking up going, that's fucking James Hetfield, you know. And we're in the dressing room, and I was just packing my stuff away, and all I heard was, "Hey, Jeff." And I turned around, it was fucking James. It was great.
That's awesome.
Great.
Well, you know, we had Jelly Biafra came out, and Max came with us from Sepultura, and formerly Sepultura, Soulfly, but you know, the boys from Masca have come, Obituary come down to see us when in Florida, and you know, so everywhere we go round there, coming out to see us and say hi, and which is great. You know, Canton. I mean, once you're in LA, you know, there was just buzzing with all sorts, you know, going on. So, you know, it's great. It's great, but it's part of that community, you know,
right?
The rock community across the planet, which seems huge, actually isn't, you know, from the fans, and that we're quite all connected and tight knit. So, you know, that's wonderful to see, especially across America. It's amazing for us.
It's quite funny speaking to somebody from one of the fans from San Francisco, and they said, "Oh, it's fucking great having James come out to see us," you know. And he said, "That's no big deal. We see him in fucking Walmart or something all the time. I haven't seen you for 30 fucking years." Oh, okay, that kind of puts it in some sort of strange perspective. But yeah, okay, I get it.
If you guys don't care, I wanted to let's go all the way back. Let's talk about the beginning of Venom. If that's cool.
Very cool.
I would love to hear about that. I know our listeners would love to hear about that.
Yeah.
What do you want to hear about it?
How did Venom come about? How did you guys meet?
Way back. It was 1976.
Dennis wasn't moved out.
Yes. Yeah, the meteor hit the earth. There's nothing left.
But I was training at a taekwondo club, and it was all new people. Nobody had ever met each other, and there was a guy training there, and I think he was 2-3 years older than me or something at the time. But we just became friends, and then he had a love of music, I had a love of music, he had a guitar, I had a guitar. So we sort of got together and just sort of jammed at each other's houses and things, and that actually was the start of it all. And then we were looking for drummers. We went through a lot of different lineups, and then I had put an advert out somewhere, I think it was in Rock City, and went down, I think it was a Saturday afternoon, met Abaddon, and I actually had another drummer to meet after Abaddon. But we seemed to get on, and we sort of scooted out of the shop before this other guy turned up. We didn't know who the hell he was, so he was reading his interview.
On guitars, so he thought he's
And that was sort of the beginning of it. And then we had a meeting in the Percy Arms pub, and Tony brought along Clive Archer and Eric Cook, who Eric became our manager much later on. Clive Archer became the singer. So there was...
I had been in a band with those guys. Eric was playing guitar and Clive was singing. And when I met Jeff, I said, "What are you doing for vocals and this kind of thing?" He said, "Well, you know, it's an open kind of book, you know, let's..." I said, "Well, I've got this guy, and he's kind of... he's into like Alice Cooper, he loves Judas Priest, and he loves this kind of makeup thing, the death thing. He was very gaunt looking, very skinny guy.
Right.
And this was before bands were doing Corpse Paint. Of course, Gene Simmons was doing the thing.
Right.
Alice Cooper was doing the thing, but even King Diamond wasn't at that point. And Clive was wearing all his makeup, and he wanted to have props on stage and shackles and fucking a coffin to come out of and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of that really appealed to the pair of us, I think. And it's good when everybody's kind of the same accord, you know, when everybody's got the same kind of ideas and the drive. When we used to rehearse, we used to we're talking about this, we used to rehearse with drum risers and fucking smoke bombs, and we used to put fucking armbands on and shit like this. And when we used to rehearse on a Saturday afternoon, we used to rehearse up in a church hall, And we'd be just setting the gear up and then sort of chugging away, you know, and then we turn around and there'd be people sitting on the floor and we're like, we're attracting a fucking crowd, it's not a gig. Fuck off. You know? And we've always been like that. We've always been, right from the very beginnings. The band wasn't called Venom. We didn't have a band name. We weren't that bothered, I don't think, about having a moniker, about having a logo or anything. And a couple of guys who came along, one of them was they were into as you did then, you know, you got a job as you were 16, 17, you got a job, so you bought a motorbike or a car. These guys bought motorbikes. They weren't bikers, but you know, they hung out and they would come and see us rehearsing. And then one day I think we were in the school hall or something, wasn't it? One of the guys said, why don't we call ourselves Venom? Just could do anything. But there was two other bands called Venom at the time. I think there was
There's one down in Manchester, and I remember there was this big thing when we sort of kicked off. The Kerrang magazine, I think it was, did this article, and they said, you know, we wanted sort of both bands to justify why they should be called Venom. So this band went into this long diatribe about, like, well, we've been called Venom since this date and this date, and blah 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 blah. We've had this image and blah 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 blah. And we went, change your fucking names, or we're coming to Manchester to kick your fucking heads in. So they changed their name to Silverwing.
1 week later,
What was it?
So wasn't there another punk band or something, or an oi band or something? I'm pretty sure there was 3 at one point.
There was something like that.
Yeah, there was something like a skinhead band or something. They kind of vanished off the face.
Wow.
But the guy who Jeff's talking about, Jeff Barton, was in a magazine called Sounds. He wrote a magazine called Sounds, and that turned into Kerrang, and Kerrang became that kind of Bible. So it was all at the same time.
Right. Wow.
So where he was kind of championing us and Saxon and Iron Maiden and all these bands are kind of getting to the forefront. We were kind of dragged through that because Jeff had been really behind us, you know.
But Kerrang was a free supplement that was put into Sounds on 1 week, and we were in the first issue, as in the new section, like the up and coming bands type of thing. And it was, you know, we sent the demo cassette to Jeff Barton, and fucking it was in his playlists for fucking weeks, you know.
It got reviewed, didn't it?
It got reviewed, you know.
I was working in a factory. I was only fucking whatever years old, but I was working in a factory as an apprentice. So I'm sitting there fucking, you know, first thing in the morning, it's pissing down, it's fucking Northern England, everything stinks of shit. And you open this magazine, there's this fucking review, and I was like, fucking hell, look at that! That's awesome. I was like, fucking hell, somebody gives a shit. Fucking amazing, you know?
But I mean, the way Kronos came into the band was my girlfriend, her best friend. Her parents used to go out, I think it was a Tuesday night or something, they used to go out down the local club or something like that, so all the metal kids would go around and sneak into her house and would just sit there and blast metal music. And this one particular night, I walked in and she had a new boyfriend, so she introduced me to this guy. She says, oh, this is Conrad, my new boyfriend. And at that point, Dave Rutherford, the guitarist that I first started with, he was on the verge of leaving. You know, he wasn't sort of happy with what we were doing. And so I said to this guy, I says, oh, you know, we're in a band. We just started talking, and he says, oh, I'll play guitar. And I was like, oh, right, okay. So, you know, we were looking for a new rhythm guitarist at that point because we were a 5-piece. And then he said, I'm doing a youth opportunity scheme at Impulse Studios. Now, me and Dave had already been in Impulse Studios and inquiring about demos, but we walked away with our tail between our legs because we just couldn't afford it, you know. So that was another thing that made my ears stand up, because I thought, oh, we might get some free studio time here. You know?
Yeah.
So he came along to a rehearsal. First thing Abaddon said from the drum riser was, fucking hell, who's she?
Had fucking makeup on. Had his fucking hair would look like a chick. We were scruffy as fuck. We had long hair, but we were scruffy. Right. Had this fucking nice fucking short leather jacket on, fucking jeans rolled up, and a pair of fucking high heel boots on. I was like, who the fuck's she? They said fucking playing up, and he's like, fucking that. I think that's a fucking dude.
But you know, he came in as a rhythm guitarist. Then the bass player quit, so he took over bass because we were just basically too lazy to look for somebody else. So just by default, he took over bass. And then I remember we'd been rehearsing and we went in to do the first demos. We've got some downtime in the studio, and I had written "Live Like an Angel, Die Like a Devil," and asked Kronos to sing that song. I said, "Can you sing?" He was like, "Well, I'll give it a shot." So he was going to sing that song, and the plan was that live, Clive would go off stage to do like the costume change, and he was going to come back on with the track Schizo, so he'd come on in a white coat with a bag with all the medical implements and, you know, the cereal and all that stuff. So Conrad would take over the vocals at that point, sing that one song, and then we'd be back to being a 5-piece again, or a 4-piece as we were at that point. And Clive got a little bit disillusioned as well. So again, by default, we'd already done that one demo song with him. So he took over vocals, and that was it. That was the way it happened.
The band had been called Venom before he came to any rehearsals. It was
called Venom before he did anything with us. And I've got an old cassette tape, which is a rehearsal tape from that very same church hall, where I took my father's cassette recorder, pressed play and record in the centre of the hall, and we just recorded the stuff. And on that tape from probably the back end of 1979, we're playing Angel Dust, Red Light Fever, Buried Alive, and Raise the Dead. Now, Buried Alive and Raise the Dead didn't appear until Black Metal.
Right.
So the bulk of Welcome to Hell was written before he joined.
And the logo is photographs. The logo on the front of the drum riser at a rehearsal before Chorus ever turned up.
Right.
Yeah.
So that predated any of that sort of thinking, you know.
So I mean that's the basic history of it, you know. You know, he's proclaiming, you know, he fucking created the universe, invented shoes and breathing and everything else, you know. But the fact is, you know, the absolute historical fact is, he was the last person to join at my invitation.
He did invent a dude looking like a chick roll.
Yeah, he did that.
He invented that.
Yeah.
He invented the skullet thing too.
Totally invented that. Yeah. That's all it is.
Well, that's the way it came about. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, it was just a process of, you know, people leaving, him taking over this, taking over that, and that was it.
Right.
You know, but I can understand that people look at what is perceived to be the front man of a band, who is usually the vocalist, and maybe rightly or wrongly they think, you know, that, you know, they're responsible for everything, you know, they're the band leader or whatever it is, like, you know. But I was just beavering away in the background writing all the fucking songs. It was as simple as that, you know. And Abaddon drew the original logo, and drawn on a piece of paper, came in with this thing and went, what about this? And it was like, you know, there was no discussion about it. It was like, yeah, that's cool.
Oh, the original logo?
The original logo, yeah. And then he turned up one day, and was he an auntie or something that stitched the pentagram?
Because the backdrops, the riser started getting bigger. So we had this backdrop, and it never got used as a backdrop. It got used on the front of the drum riser, and she'd stitched. Right. I'd drawn the pentagram for Welcome to Hell, or for the single first in England. And she just hand stitched this thing, you know. There was no sort of screen print or anything. No. And I just showed her this piece of artwork that I'd done. And she said, okay, and then come back out with this huge thing. We were like, oh, that's fucking cool, big backdrop. Like I said, just wound up, the drum riser got bigger, so it just wound up being on the front of the drum riser.
It's iconic. I think, and I want our fans to know this. This was so important. This is why I wanted you to be part of this interview. And this, you're the man. We got to get to you too. We're going to get there. Fine. But I wanted to tell the two of you, as a fan, if people don't realize, I love Venom. I love Venom Inc. But I love the two of you. The two of you created. You guys created more stuff with those records than you're given even a quarter of credit for. And the black metal scene wouldn't exist. We're big death metal guys. The 80s, 90s death metal scene wouldn't exist. It's a huge.
I think these things that, you know, people do throw that around us. I'm very, you know, proud of that. But I think those scenes would have happened had we not done it. But just slower, would have taken more time, and it wouldn't have been the explosion that it was. Right. It was the fact that everything exploded, and like all these big American labels that had these super rock star bands, you know, Aerosmith and the Stones and all this kind of thing. All of a sudden you've got these little skinny punks coming out of the fucking West Coast and the East Coast and Germany and fucking Scandinavia, and I say, what the fuck? They had to sit up and take notice. Right. So out of that you're going to get your Slayers and your Metallicas and your fucking Death, and all these bands are going to fucking come to the forefront, you know. Right. The fact that we were maybe a little bit at the front of that, and we were kind of heavier than Motorhead, heavier than Saxon and Iron Maiden and this kind of thing. Sure. Was what kind of threw us to the forefront of that, and that's what gives the longevity to something, because we were ridiculed quite a lot at the start. We were ridiculed as much as we were sort of put on a pedestal. Right. It was pretty even.
Right.
not the whole
by the industry.
Yeah, by the industry. The whole world didn't just go, fucking hell, Venom's amazing. A lot of people just went, what the fuck are they doing? Like, shut up and shit. Shut those fucking drums up, you know.
Well, I did an interview. I live in Portugal now, and when we were doing the interviews for RV, I got an email from the press person to say that, I've got another interview for you. It's going to be a telephone interview. Are you available? And I was like, yeah. And it was with Alan Robson. Now, Alan Robson was the Newcastle DJ who totally slated us. He was totally against us. You know, he just fucking wow. He was into his AOR rock. I mean, he was, he had this late night show called the Hot and Heavy Express, and fucking thousands of followers. Everybody used to tune in. He used to go to the Mayfair, the local rock club, and then back home and listen to the Hot and Heavy Express. So I says, yeah, I'll do the interview. And I hadn't seen Alan for God knows how many years.
Right.
During the course of that interview, he said, I'm going to say something, and he says, this is going to go on radio. He says, it's going to go on my radio show. And he says, what I want to say to you and to the audience listening, I was wrong. He says, I didn't understand what Venom was about. He says, but what you guys have done is incredible. He says, and I was wrong.
Wow.
I take that on board now. He says, I was absolutely wrong.
Had to blow your mind here.
I was on the end of the phone going.
There was a thing that again Eric Cook set up, which was because Alan had fucking just hated us and just left us off the whole northeast scene. Every other band, he would bring them in, he'd interview them, he'd play their records, and all these Raven and Fist and Tigers of Pantime. And what Eric said was, Eric rang him up and said, look, I know you hate Venom, all right. However, we need press, we need to be on the radio show. Right. How about if we do an anti-interview where you sit and you tell the band exactly what you think of them, how shit they think you are. The band are going to tell you how shit your record, your radio show is, how you're a little ginger wanker, and all this kind of shit. And what we'll do is you can bleep it out, and what we'll do is we'll finish with a fight, like a we start. What we did was we ride all the microphones about,
right,
and we just made a right noise and like kicked the table over, and, but it was set up. It was all set up. So we put it on the back end of a cassette single, and people loved it. People were like, you guys are fucking nuts. You just went in there and kicked the shit out of the guy.
It made the local newspapers, everything. My mother wouldn't go out of the house for about a month.
Yeah,
because all the neighbours were going.
But don't forget, this is a guy who's very, very, very popular,
right?
And he's late night popular. So me and Eric Cook, we're going away to America and we're doing something, and we come back, we fly back, and we're fucking shattered. So we get in, we go back to London, we have to get a fucking train or a bus up to Newcastle. So we finally rag all the bags off, 2 days of travelling or something. We get in this taxi. We've only got to go 5 miles home, so we're in the middle, but it's like 2 in the morning,
right,
3 in the morning. So the taxi drivers all listen to Al Robson because he's on at that time. So this taxi driver's a nice guy, and he's like, so what do you guys do? So just in America, he says, it's fucking long haul, yeah. Okay, so, what do you do? He says, we're playing a band, I'm managing a band. He says, this is the drummer. So that's fucking interesting. He says, what band's that? He says, Venom. Out. Fuck off, get out.
Oh, God.
Threw us out of the fucking taxi. He says, you cunts fucking kick the shit out of Alan Robson so you can fuck off, get out my car. Just threw us out the fucking car.
But see, that's amazing. That's why, I was drawn to it. I was scared to death of black metal when I first looked at that record, or Welcome to Hell, or because my uncle had them.
Yeah.
And he turned me on, and I was just like, these are scary, but I love this. And I just, that's the appeal of it. There was no bullshit. You guys were, it
was black or white, it was love it or hate it, and I think that's part of where we've got the longevity from, is the fact that people now understand that it's part of history.
Yeah.
And I call it because, we're in the band, but it isn't it. It's a thing of its own, the band, whoever's been in it, whatever's happened with it. And that's what gives it its sort of place in history. And that's why if we come out here and we play these sort of places, a lot of people are very knowledgeable. They come out and they know about the background of these things. It's not like other forms of music. I don't want to be too disparaging of other forms of music, but other forms of music comes and goes in your life.
Yeah.
This doesn't. This stays with you, and you pass it on, and people, like you say, like your uncle and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we see, we've got kids coming up with the fucking gigs, and we thought, we're going to be playing the 40-year-olds. Nothing against that 40, 50-year-old. That's That's when we first put the stuff out with. There's fucking a lot of young kids coming, and you know, and they've got the old albums, and they've bought the new album, and they're carrying it on. But they're very knowledgeable, and they get it. They get what happened with Slayer. They get that Metallica used to open for Venom and all this kind of shit. You know, they get it all. They get the whole thing.
I mean, it's just
it's a life. It's a full life fucking choice. You know,
right. It's really the attitude you guys brought to the table with the music that wasn't really
without trying to.
Yeah.
It wasn't
pure.
Wasn't that we sat down and said, we didn't even sit down really and say, let's pick these crazy names. We kind of said, you know,
just wrote shit up.
We kind of thought, I think that sounds pretty cool. I mean, Abaddon came out of the Bible, but some of the other, you know, the other stuff was just like, I think this sounds cool, and I want to be called this. And it's like, no, that fucking sounds great. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. On the early records, right? On the early records, was Kronos writing a lot of that stuff? Or was that the two of you doing all of that stuff?
Kronos writing it up. Kronos was writing.
Not a damn thing, did he?
No.
That's what I was.
He had a couple of. I mean, there was a couple of contributions, but no, you fucking the bulk of it, 80-90% of it.
That's what
leading up to fucking At War with Satan, where I got a bit fucking disillusioned with the whole thing. But no, I was taking the fucking riffs in and the fucking songs, finished songs. I'm a bit of a, when it comes down to songwriting, I mean, I'm a bit of a lone wolf. I'll go into my studio room, shut the door, and I'll just write and write and write and write and write and write and write. But with him, there wasn't any massive contributions on the song in the early days. Definitely not. No.
I remember getting sent home from school with In League with Satan, having that at school with me.
That's nice of your teacher to give you that.
Oh, it was my uncle's, and you know, I had it there at school, and I remember, and ever since then it was just like, you know, that's one of my bands, you know, so it's like, and it's you keep that, you get older, and that's the stuff that matters, you know, and it changed me. That's why I wasn't interested in listening to a lot of other stuff.
See, I was the same as Jeff. I used to listen to stuff like Sweet and Slade and things like that growing up. Slade was a fucking great band, English band. And then I went fucking babysitting, and my uncle had these stack of records, and he was like, "I'll just play what you want, you know." And I saw this thing with these fucking naked people on a fucking bed with 666 carved in the back, and I was like, "The fuck is that?" That's pretty Sabbath, you know. And you're just like, as a kid, you're like, fucking hell, this is fucking insane. So I get where people saw what we were doing and picked it up and got the same response.
Right.
I don't think we set out really to get that response. We did set out to be blasphemous and to be a bit naughty, you know.
Oh, sure.
That was deliberate, but and obviously the artwork. But it just came about kind of naturally, and it's the same with the sound. When we started playing like this stuff, it just sounds like we're in a rehearsal room in fucking 1980 odd, you know. It sounds a bit better because he's good with a mixer, but
it's so. You know. I can't tell you enough just how iconic I think those records are. I mean, seriously, like nothing sounds like that. I think they're the blueprint for a lot of stuff. The American thrash movement, the death metal movement, and that black metal stuff. I mean, you can't get any more blatant than taking your album title and running with their scene with it. You know, I mean, everything, the music, just how important it is to everything I listen to.
I mean, basically, you know, what you've said there is those bands have taken what we did and ran with it.
Yeah.
The same as we did with Motorhead, Priest, Sabbath.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the ones with kids, the fucking over-the-topness of Motorhead, the growling fucking bass, and with the throaty vocals.
That's awesome.
It was never, I want to be Lemmy, but it was like, that was fucking right there in your face. You know, we used to have a couple of good venues in Newcastle that you could get to really easily. And you'd see fucking Motorhead one day, you'd see Priest the next, Whitesnake the next, fucking Rush the next.
It's awesome.
And you'd fucking, you know, and it was like 2-3 quid, it was nothing. It was under $5, you know, and it was like, you could be there 3 nights a week, 4 nights a week. That's and you could see Priest and Lizzie, and you'd just keep coming around. Every year you'd see bands 2 or 3 times, you know, and it was really easy to grow up and be sort of overthrown and you know, sort of overwhelmed with that, the scene in the pubs. Every look up where Newcastle is, just on a river, and north and south of the river, or little small communities. But each community had 4 or 5 pubs that were just about heavy metal.
Right.
And you just went there and you fucking just, you know, and you would swap stories. Have you heard this band? And, oh, well, if you like Rush, have you heard The Gods?
Right.
You know, fucking Triumph, all this kind of shit, and all that American wave is just hitting you in the face, and all the fucking European stuff's going back that way. great, man.
Well, it bothers me when it's just I don't think it's mentioned enough how important what the two of you did. To me, it's iconic. It really, like, I'm about to shit myself just sitting here, not literally, but just, you know. I mean, really. I mean, I grew up listening to this stuff, and it's. I think those records are so important, and I absolutely. But I mean, you know, it's seriously, it's. If I could have told myself when I was 6 or 7, then I'm going to get to, you know. So it's crazy. But do you consider yourself? Because I always consider, because I've heard people say, "Oh, well, the Venom stuff that was new wave of British heavy metal." Do you consider yourself part of that, or do you consider yourself your own thing?
I think we're the own thing.
That's how I did. I mean,
we felt apart from the. That's how the whole sort of black metal thing came around. You know, it was like it was at a time when, you know, everybody who had long hair and a guitar was a heavy metal band.
Right.
You know, and we're sitting doing an interview, and I think there's an early copy of Kerrang was lying on the table, and I think it was Bon Jovi was on the front, and there was this question came up about metal or whatever it was, and we turned to the interviewer and says, "Well, if that's what you consider heavy metal, we've got fuck all to do with that. Nothing to do. We didn't feel a part of the new wave of British heavy metal or anything, although we were thrown into it. We didn't feel a part of it." So press being press, you know, they've got to label you. They've got to put you in a little box somewhere. You know, exactly. And it's like, so what are you? It's like black metal. That was it.
Metal, speed metal.
If you look on the back of one of the albums, there was a thing called Power Metal Publishing, which was our publishing thing. You know, years later, what do you get? You get Power Metal. You know, and then all the whole, like he says, you know, the whole fucking death metal, thrash metal, this
but
metal,
guys,
that metal.
Sit and say, wait, what was that? We're like, we didn't come out with any genres. I didn't even know what a fucking genre was. I still don't.
Yeah.
But the fucking just the enthusiasm and the fucking, we're not, you know, if Bon Jovi's heavy metal, if that's what you call, that's the Bible, right? That's this week's edition of the Bible according to heavy metal. That's Bon Jovi. So no, we're not that.
Right, exactly.
Like
right.
The week later, they had fucking Chris Rea on the front. Somebody once told me that the least selling copy at that time of Kerrang was when they put Pantera on the front.
Wow.
Yeah. Go fucking figure that.
Yeah, and that, you know, they get labeled into all this stuff. To me, they were the saviors during all that grunge shit. I hated all that shit.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
And man, they flew that flag and they didn't give a fuck.
Two things happened in the 90s which brought metal back to the fore. One was black metal, the genre, of course, the Scandinavian, the other one was Pantera.
Right.
Neither of those two things happened, they would still be.
No, and they were completely not politically correct. And
no, exactly.
They're in your face. They kept it. Yeah. Phil's actually been a big supporter of our podcast. He's gave us a lot of really good press. Very cool guy. And
they saved it. The two things together. The anomaly being is that black metal is a genre. When you hear black metal bands go Venom on fucking black metal, and you hear black metal bands go Venom on black metal, in its purest form, Venom is the only black metal band on the planet.
Yeah.
Because they called themselves black metal.
Oh,
they
yeah.
didn't call themselves a genre, they call themselves black metal to establish that was how they saw themselves.
That you weren't Bon Jovi.
That there wasn't anything else but them. And so to label a genre later and go, well, you're not black metal because you don't sound like all of these other bands, right? But they're not black metal.
Well, we headlined a festival in Europe, a big festival called Dynamo Festival.
Right. Yeah.
In Almo. I'm sure. About 100,000 people. We headlined on a Saturday night in '96. In '97, I went there as well, and I saw Cradle of Filth and go on in the afternoon. And Danny went on, a British band. Danny went on and said, "It's great to see a British black metal band on the Dynamo stage eventually." And I'm like, "So we didn't do that last year then? And we didn't close the whole fucking thing and just wipe the fucking place out." All right.
The stupidest thing I've ever seen in the press was an article about Black Sabbath, and it said it opened this article with veteran black metal band Black Sabbath, and then gave the news about them. That was the.
Are you kidding me?
That was the opening quote. Veteran black metal band Black Sabbath.
See, my exposure as a kid to Black Sabbath was, I heard the Dio stuff first.
Right. Okay.
And my uncle loved Dio, and he loved Venom, and he loved Motorhead, and that was it. and old AC/DC, and that's it. And that's what he listened to, and that's what I grew up on. So all my friends made fun of me for liking Ronnie, but again, it was the occult stuff. And that's actually what I kind of want to ask you guys about. The sacrilege. I loved it. As a kid, I was scared to death of it, but I was like, this is fucking awesome. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
We just set out to stuff it in people's faces and say, you know, if they ran away screaming, great. We didn't give a shit.
It's because when you're a kid, you want to rail against, you know, what your parents did or whatever. You know. I mean, a lot of parents grow up and they'll play fucking Elvis.
Yeah.
When you're growing up, and this kind of thing, you know. And I mean, my brother used to play the Rolling Stones to me, and I instantly learned that my hatred of the Beatles came because he loved the fucking Rolling Stones. Because apparently that was the thing then. Which do you like? You had to like one or the other.
Yeah.
And my brother was just all about the Stones, so of course I was, you know. And people talk about the Beatles in this huge fucking way, and I've never understood it. Never will. So it gets ingrained in you, you know.
I mean, when you all would sit down with, like, and Lee would say, and I love that. You know, it's like Countess Bathory on black metal. I mean, just all those songs, and it just everything about it. In fact, I don't know. I just where you came up with some of that stuff. It was fucking amazing. It really is, and
Have you heard the tale of writing black metal?
Yes.
You've heard the tale?
No.
How I wrote the riffs?
No, not about that. No.
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 Right, well, here we go. I've told it a few times now. You know when you get up in the morning, have a coffee, cigarette, and you go to the toilet to do your business? Some people take a magazine in. I took a guitar in one day. Black metal was born.
That's awesome.
That's the true story.
That's awesome.
I've had so many people say, fucking hell, that song, how did you come up with that song? Expecting I was fucking sacrificing virgins and fucking doing it at midnight and all this kind of crap. I was just taking a shit. I was just taking a shit. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Kept it. Went to my dad's cassette recorder. Pressed play and record. Right. That was it.
Wow.
And just fucking. That's how the song came about.
It's classic stuff. I mean, it's all of it. I mean, just everything that you all would come up with. I could never get enough of it. Every record.
Who's he reminded of? It's fucking John Perry.
It is.
It's John Perry.
Yeah.
Biggest Venom fan in the entire world was in Switzerland. John is like, forget it. Covered in Venom tattoos, absolutely covered. Your mannerisms, the way you look, your hair, just fucking totally.
This guy, his house, his whole house is a Venom museum. Wow, his whole house. His wife loves Venom, his daughter loves Venom, he loves Venom.
That's great. That's awesome.
But honestly, his house is like a shrine.
Hit us up on Facebook and we'll book you up.
Okay, that's awesome.
It's fucking great.
The last time I spoke to him about his collection was a good few years ago. I mean, we're still in contact with him, and at that point, he had 69 different versions of black metal. It's like, and everything's in storage and boxes and stuff like that. But like his house, he showed me photographs of his house, and I mean, living room, dining room, kitchen, shit, fucking everything. It's just Venom everywhere.
That's awesome.
Whole house, incredible. It's amazing.
Well, this has been. I just can't believe we got to sit here and talk to you guys. I'm a huge fan. I have been since I was 7 years old. So it's an honor to just sit here and talk with you.
You know, the thing is, you know, we get that so many times, but the truth of the matter is, if it wasn't for people like yourself, if it wasn't for the fans and their support, we wouldn't exist. You know, you can open a department store tomorrow. If nobody goes into that store, it closes.
Sure.
It's as simple as that. The fans are the most important part of the music industry.
Definitely.
They're the lifeblood, they're the oxygen, and they're the engine of the music industry. And without them, none of these fucking bands, nobody would exist. You know, if everybody tomorrow decided, that's it, I'm never buying music again, I'm never downloading anything, I'm never going to a show, I'm not going to buy a magazine, the whole industry's fucked.
Yeah.
You know, record labels, magazines, promoters, agents, fucking clubs like this, the whole thing. You know, nobody goes to that club. It's not the band. You know, I've had so many club owners come up to me and say, it's an absolute honour to have you here playing. And I'm like, no. It's a privilege for us to be able to set foot on any stage in the world and present our music to the people who love it. You know, because without them, we're fucked.
Right.
You know? So,
well, I think without Ural's contribution to metal, there's a lot of stuff I listened to that would have never came out.
That's
because to me, you all were so extreme in that scene, you know. Because I never saw you all. I wanted to ask, you know, what you thought. It's your band, but I never saw you all as part of the Maiden and Motorhead scene and everything. You were your own thing, and that's what I liked about it. And I think that's where a lot of people were borrowing and.
Oh yeah.
You know,
they're inspired too.
Well, but I don't know. I can't say enough good stuff about it.
Yeah. No, like I say, I think you know the bands that sort of followed us, they did exactly the same as what we did. You know, they picked up the ball and they ran with it, the same as we did. You know, when it was like Motorhead and Priest. I mean, my life changed in 1979 when I seen Priest.
Oh yeah.
That was it. It was just like, that's what I want to do. I was always into guitar-driven stuff. I grew up through the 70s, through the glam rock era. And as Tony mentioned, I mean, Slade were my favourite band. T-Rex, Sweet, and then I bought Seven Seas of Rye by Queen, the single.
Oh, awesome.
And then discovered Kiss. And then it was myself and this guy I was talking about, Dave. We used to go to a lot of concerts. We just anybody, you know, he'd call me up and say, I've got tickets for this, I've got tickets for that. My first concert was 77. It was Blue Oyster Cult.
Awesome, man.
And I mean, we went to see anybody. I was lucky enough to see Rory Gallagher. You know, I seen AC/DC with Bon Scott.
Oh, that's good stuff.
You know, we just used to go and see anybody we could. And like we say, in Newcastle at the time, you could go to the Newcastle City Hall on a Friday night and see a band, and then you could go to the Mayfair on a Saturday night and see a band. I seen Priest at the Mayfair, at the Newcastle City Hall on Friday night, and then the second show that they did was Saturday night at the Mayfair with the original lineup of Iron Maiden supporting.
Wow.
You know, so we've seen so many people there. You know, Wasp did their first English date.
That early stuff's awesome.
You know, it's like Twisted Sister did one of their first English dates at the Mayfair. You know, so we seen a lot of bands there. You know, Bon Jovi even played the Mayfair. Did this fucking club date. Right. It was like everybody went there. Everybody went. So you know, that's what inspired us at the end of the day. So, but yeah, for me, it was definitely, you know, just going to see all these bands, and there was anybody that had a guitar in the band, I would go and see them.
Right.
Well, it was that night. I can still remember it was Thursday, May the 28th.
Wow.
And the thing that did it for me, I was sitting in the audience, and stage left as I was looking, this guitarist ran on, and I just went, that's what I want to do, was kick it out.
That's his favorite.
It's my favorite.
I went to a museum in York, and they had these beautiful trains, and I wanted to be a train driver, but I got stuck with this shit.
You're on the Venom train now.
Yeah.
You guys mind?
Hi, this is Mantas from Venom Inc., and you are listening to the Phantasm Podcast. Keep it heavy, my friends.
Awesome.
Hi, this is Abaddon from the band Venom Inc. You're listening to the Phantasm
Take 2
Podcast.
That's half the show gone.
Hi, this is Abaddon from the band Venom Inc. and you're listening to the Phantasm
Take 3
Why do I want to say project?
Podcast.
Project.
This is why his acting career never took off.
Hi, this is Sylvester Stallone. No, it's not.
Take 4 This could take a while.
Hi, this is Abaddon from the band Venom Inc. You're listening to the Phantasm Project.
Fucking podcast, you cock.
Take 5
We'll just change our name to Phantasm.
Yeah, just change your fucking name.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Abaddon from Venom Inc. You're listening to the Phantasm Podcast. Keep it real.
Coming soon from Phantasm.
They wanted to see something different, but something different saw them first. The hills have eyes.
Mister, don't take your family back in that area. The silver has been gone for 40 years now. Besides, there's nothing back in there but animals.
We're lost. The old creep told you not to get off the road.
What began as a vacation ended as a nightmare.
Be hell to pay now.
What was that?
She thought she knew what the world was all about, but nothing prepared her for this. The hills have eyes.
Oh, you going with my baby?
Get out of the way, Dick.
A mother fighting for her child loses it in the worst possible way.
I hit him with a tire iron and I split his face wide open. That was a bad mistake. I come back for you later, girlie. Why are you doing this?
The story of an American family who lost everything except the will to survive. Murdered, raped, burned, but not beaten. The hills have eyes. The story of one family's refusal to die.
I'm gonna get those animals.
The hills have eyes. A night of terror. A day of vengeance where no one was spared. No one.
Kill the babe! Kill me!
They fought back. Anything was a weapon. The family dog to the family car.
It's working!
The Hills Have Eyes. The most shocking, terrifying film you will ever see, by Wes Craven, writer and director of The Last House on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. The lucky ones died first.
Beneath the city of New York are living catacombs, an endless maze of subterranean tunnels, unfit for anything human. Unauthorized for anything experimental.
Hold it! There's something moving up ahead in the tunnel!
And unlikely to bring anyone down there. So, they're coming up. Chud. Chud, check your basement and your bathroom. Keep off the street and try to hide. But remember, the dark is their place. The night is their time. And tomorrow, the only things living in the city of New York will be Chud. Chud. Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers.
Ah, hello, fellow food lovers. I'm Phil Mignon, world-famous gourmet. In my travels, I've sampled some of the most exquisite foods the world has to offer. And that's why they've asked me to tell you all about a charming new eatery located right downtown. As, you can see, the atmosphere is lovely. But, of course, the finest attribute of this quaint cafe is the marvelous cuisine.
By the way, what is the special ingredient in the Tuesday surprise?
Well, if I told you that, it wouldn't be a surprise anymore, would it?
They're, mouth-watering specialties. Will have you, as they say, licking your lips. Only the freshest natural ingredients are selected.
The first ingredients we need are 2 stomachs from a couple of friends.
For use in their carefully guarded recipes.
I'd give my right arm for that secret recipe.
Yes, the chef puts a bit of himself into every succulent dish. Oh, and he's always pleased to serve you to your friends. Shouldn't that be serve you and your friends? No. Your gracious hostess will direct you to your table, where you will dine as if there's no tomorrow. So, breeze on down and don't let anything stand in your way. This Epicurean haven is called Blood Diner.
You got that right, homo.
So, this is Phil Mignon, saying bon appetit. Oh, Mommy.
The Blood Diner. First they greet you, then they eat you. No one under 17 admitted.